Yo, what's up, guys? New tier list, season 19 tier list. Been asked to make this one for quite a while already, but most of the time I like to give the balance patch and the season some time to actually develop the meta, not right away say like this is OP, this is OP, this is broken, because some units take some time to actually get used to, for people to find counters to if they're very OP at the start, or not to get countered or anything like that. I hope this one contains all units. I did skim through it and I think I noticed most units. So I hope this one has all units. Again, I'm using the 195, 90, blah, 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 that whole kind of stuff. The main thing, the reason I use this for is because I can easily fill in an extra tier. Let's say everything of 95 or one unit of 95 is better than 95, but it's not 100. Then I can actually switch it up to 100. So therefore, but no, wait. Let's say a 95 unit is better than everything in 95, but not as good as the units in 100. I can make a tier of like 97 and a half in between, and therefore I like these tiers in between because it makes it pretty flexible. So with that said, that is pretty nice. Also, I have been seeing some tier lists. I'm also using this website. I have been seeing some tier lists of like the win rate. So straight up, this is the tier list, this is triple S, and then somewhere S happens, and then blah blah happens. Those tier lists are terrible. Let me tell you that much. Those tier lists are absolutely the worst. Nice that they are made, nice that these numbers are there, but if you're pretty much just aiming for like, okay, because of X win rate, a unit is X good or Y good, that's bullshit. Main reason for that is some of the units with very low win rate are actually drafted in scenarios where they are most likely already on the back foot. So they are drafted in more difficult scenarios. Like for example, an Antares. Mostly is drafted when you just don't know anything, you're probably already lost the draft. I slap in an Antares. Therefore Antares win rate loses. For example, a Mephisto is a hard counter to one of the strongest units, if not the strongest unit out there right now. Doesn't mean it's a bad unit, it's just drafted when trying to counter the strongest unit and therefore dropping down in win rate. Some other units are just very strong in win rate. For example, Tianlang is the strongest win rate out there because it's the strongest 5th pick in the game that you can probably have right now. Because this thing as 5th pick is most of the time a must ban. As you can see, the ban rate is crazy high and therefore is very strong. But this as an early draft, can you slap into every draft because it's the higher win rate unit? No, it's not. Is it actually high as the ban? No, it's nearly one of the highest. Same as a Leo, for example, very high win rate, ban rate. Does it make that unit necessarily better or worse? That depends, because Mephisto is also very high ban rate, but it's still a low win rate. So that's the thing. Looking straightly at the win rates is not the way to go. There's a lot more to it. When is a unit drafted? How often is it drafted? Is it drafted in the correct draft? Who is drafting what, when, where, how? So with that said, I would like to make a tier list. Well, like I made tier list for the last 4, 5, 6 seasons that I've been working on, and let's see how it goes this time. So I think I'm just gonna put the units in. I'm going over by family. Also in the YouTube video, I will have the timestamps per family, so that you can actually see. I wanted to do timestamps per every unit, but that's a little bit too much. Apparently you can only put 100 timestamps and it also gets kind of messy. So if you want to see a specific unit, why is it placed there, if you disagree with anything, look up that point. That's probably the point where I placed the unit, where I looked at it, where I thought about it, and where I placed it like towards a certain number. I'm trying to remember to actually, for the people that like to listen to this as a kind of podcast, to call out the numbers rather than saying I put Chow here. I will say I will put Chow at, let's say, 85 or an 80 or anything like that. Not that I'm gonna put Chow there, but you can also watch this as a kind of podcast kind of thing while on the side, while you're cooking, while you're driving, while you're, I don't know, doing something. So with that said, I think those are all the side things. These are included the Sky Dancer and a Totemist, Taoist, Totemist, those kind of things. So I think we got all units in here, and I think we're just gonna start. And with every unit, I'm also gonna look up the win rate. I'm gonna look up the win rate on SW, arena.gg, so check out this website, pretty nice website. Also, the maker is... Wait, I have to remove the webcam to see the maker. I probably still mispronounce this, Resolia, I guess. Thanks for making this amazing website, very cool looking. I know there's some good updates coming to this stuff as well, so if you want to check it out, check it out. It's pretty neat. But don't blindly stare as like, okay, X win rate means X good of a unit. No, that's not how it works. And as always, I also be interacting with the chat, asking like, okay, this unit, what do you guys think here and there? But I do want to keep it kind of short if possible. But I already talked for 5.5 minutes and didn't even place a single unit. Okay, let's get going. First family, the Valkyria. So the only Valkyrias that are currently used are Vanessa and Achroma. Therefore, I'm also not going to place in... If a unit is just simply barely used, I'm not going to place it in there for like this 1.5 potato that actually drafts it. Sorry if you do, it can totally work out for you. But this is an overall general G3 RTA tier list. And we're currently actually working with one of the most difficult metas ever. Because everything is actually kind of good because of Nana. Kind of. So, with that said, let's just get going. So first family, Valkyrias. Vanessa. Let's place her at 75 for now. I'm actually gonna check what her win rate is. Also, I'm not gonna have any music on the background because I'll be talking a lot, explaining a lot. If the music at some point gets a little bit louder, it's not listenable, blah blah, it just gets annoying. So if you want some background music, just let your bird whistle on the background. I don't know, something. You know how it works. So we have Vanessa with a win rate of 49, draft rate is not that high. Mostly just picked for leader, I guess. 50-50. Bad against the Nana, that kind of stuff. Good with Nana, not surprised. It's a pretty standard unit. I think she's just actually 75. The first few units to place are always very difficult because you never really know where to place it. And then the tier list is always a comparison towards like other units. So... let's see how we get from there. Achroma is actually kind of a difficult unit for me to place because I value Achroma very, very high in current meta. I think she's insanely strong together with like a Wusa, a Nana, those kind of units. She got the buff by herself that she can lock down on her S2. She cycles the S2 as much as she actually places the silence. So I feel like Achroma is very, very good in current meta. Win rate is somewhat dropping, it seems. 50, it used to be higher. Some days it's pretty high, but I think her play rate is not that high. Maybe for that I actually won down her, but I feel like Achroma is very, very strong in current meta. And I think that is actually it for the Valkyrias. Yes, sir, the other Valkyrias are not really used. I think I'm just gonna go from A to Z and see what we find and what we get into. So we have Verdi. No, wait, we have Han. Achroma's defense type, right? I think so. Not 100% sure. Yeah, she has a lot of... the HP lead also really helps with units like a Wusa, Karnal. Well, Karnal already has HP lead, but other units. So, let's go for Han. I haven't seen that many Hans recently, but I still think it's a pretty strong unit. Enemy, yeah, it's enemy HP scaling. So Han is only at a 50.69 win rate right now. Good against Lulu's. Yeah, good against the one shot, but it's pretty bad against Nana. I guess it's pretty good with Nana. Not surprised about that. So I would say Han is a little bit worse than before, but I feel like same tier. I already feel like I have to put in between tiers here. So I'm actually going to one down everything already, because I would feel like I have too much in between tiers already just by the first few units I put in there. So let's go for Han there. Any of these units I kind of want to place. Sian. Sian is just the typical, always been there, always decent, but currently because of Nana actually got worse. Sian is still a good last pick, but because of Nana, you can't really draft Sian that much anymore. Probably bad against Nana, yeah, not surprised. Good against, yeah. If people draft this kind of potato stuff, then you can draft in a Sian. But the moment the Nana is there, your Sian is already counted. So your Sian is, I would say, worse than normally. Okay, I had to name the numbers. I forgot about that already. So Chroma 85, Han 85, Vanessa 70, and Sian 65. So what else do we have? We have Verdiheal. I feel like Verdiheal is very, very good in current meta. Verdiheal is a very good enabler with Nana because it's very likely that you actually kill something. I try to do per family, but some units just have one family. That's the thing. But the Verdiheal, I feel like it's very strong because, well, it's bad against those kind of things. The LDs does make sense, but it's very good with a Nana. It's very good with the Wusa. There's a lot of stuff up there. Can't you line them up in the tier list? First one, 85, stronger unit of 85 tier. No, there's no really order in the individual list itself. Or in the individual tier, it's still, like, everything is 85. There's no difference in between the order. If I would have to rate it like that, it's even way more messy, so I'm not really planning to do that. But I feel Vert is very much an enabler. And still, I think triple Revenge Vert is the strongest way to go. But some people made triple Revenge Vert at, like, very low speed. I would recommend go triple Revenge Vert at a 160 Vert or something. Or plus 160 Vert. And give it a lot of stats. Actually make it a decent bruiser. Good amount of survivability. Good amount of damage, everything. And I think Vert is very good with the Wusa and Nana meta. Next units, we got a dragon. Oh no, wait. Let's do the Julian first. Is Julian really worth? Julian. Julian has a very high win rate, very low play rate. Used against a few units, bad against the typical stuff. I haven't seen him much. I feel like he's good. But I haven't seen him much. I don't know. Maybe some people that have him will place him there. He still dies to dots. Like, if he wouldn't die to dots, I feel like he's pretty good. But I feel like some people can make more use of him than he is used right now. Then we go for Cadiz Nuts. Cadiz Nuts, pretty low win rate, even low play rate. Yeah, no, this is one of those units that just, I don't really feel like somewhere here. It gets stripped. Yeah. Okay, let's go for dragons. Jamire. Jamire's been used quite some, been used pretty effectively to counter some strippers like Gianna, been used to counter Sekhmets. So probably also if you see good against, oh, that's good with, good against, yeah, Gianna, Okeanos, those kind of strippers. So it actually, everything that has a cool time increase, this unit is pretty good against. Wouldn't say it's necessarily the best unit, but I feel like he can have his use here and there. What's his 75? I feel like he's pretty good. He also has some niche setups with like a Tablo and that kind of stuff, so I feel like 75 is a solid spot. Maybe 80. Nah, 75 is fine for me. So that is the only dragon. Then we have a couple of birds. No one uses those birds. A couple of Lagmaron kind of stuff. No one uses those kind of stuff. So then we end up with Archangels. So we have Velajul. Velajul is not really used at all, I think. See the win rate? No, this is so terribly low. I don't even want to place it in there. This is just terrible. It also did, they had the buff on the S2, but the buff on the S2 is like 50% chance for a one-turn armor break. What? What's this stupid shit? Obabo runs the Tablo Jamire cleave with Wusa. Yeah, it's pretty strong. But I also feel like people, that it's pretty strong because people haven't figured out yet how to play against it. The moment people figure that out, it's not as crazy anymore. So that unit not really used. Eladriel is also not really used anymore because, well, Nana took over that thing. Let's see what's the actual win rate. Is decent, play rate is nothing. Yeah, I'm not gonna put it in there. Artemis though. Artemis is actually used. Artemil is a 51.85 win rate, good against Daphnes, Ataris, Verts, Dianas, Junos. Does make a lot of sense, all of them. Bad against the CC cleave, yes sir. I feel like Artemil's underrated, and the people that have Artemil use him wrong. So, what I would personally do with Artemil, I would only draft Artemil as 5th pick. Maybe one down. Maybe one down because you can't draft him often. 75. I would make Artemil a very high damage unit to actually counter the moment that they draft in a Leo and a Vert or something. I draft in an Artemil that does so much damage that it's just two-shotting things on armor breaks. That's totally what I would do with an Artemil. I wouldn't put Artemil 100 res. I wouldn't put Artemil on like high defensive stats or anything like that. Or defense, yes, but not a high HP. I would just go very much OP stuff. That just does a lot of damage. And for the people asking about the Jamire cleave, yeah, Babo used it together with Bella and Han. And then also with Athena and Tablo. So, a bunch of LDs. It's rather like halfway an LD spam rather than just a simple draft everyone could do. So that's the only one for the Archangel. And Despair, yeah, I would probably go Despair. But I would probably go Despair plus some set that you have crazy stat of. I would probably even go Despair Blade or Despair Guard or something like that. Something you have a crazy set of. So then we have Chloe. Chloe has been used some as Nemtech, sometimes as Speed Leader, sometimes as semi-Pontus. Win rate apparently is pretty low. I think she's drafted in scenarios where she's not, where she's already kind of losing the match. Good against the CC cleave, pretty much, but bad against anything Bruiser. Does make sense, does make sense. I feel like Chloe would fit at a 70. It's kind of a niche pick. It's not crazy good, but it can fit in where it does, and it can make some wins here and there. Then we have going to Oracles. Oh, Oracles. Oracles. Praha first. Praha win rate is kind of low, which I'm actually surprised about. Praha win rate is 47.26. Good against Pontus. Units with buff, but for example, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually bad against Wusa. Okay, it's not shown here, but as far as I know, Praha is actually bad against Wusa, and for that reason, okay, it's also bad against like pretty much all of the CC cleave units out there, including Nana. So for that reason, she's not doing as well, but I still feel like Praha still has a lot of value because of still the strip, the cycling, a lot of attack bar gain, additional damage artifacts, the whole shebang, but because of her low win rate, I do have to give her... If she had a decent win rate, I would put her 85, but I put Praha on 80 right now because of the low win rate. So I do minus down her for that. Then we go to the next one, which is Juno. Juno is at a 49.7 win rate on a 30% play rate, which is very, very high. So that's actually a very much used unit. Good against a bunch of these. Probably didn't see that many matches against those, but has like a few good win rates. Pretty bad into LDs, nothing new. Pretty bad also into Nana. Verts, Leos. I'm surprised about Leo. But I guess it's more or less against the things that are next to Leo rather than the Leo itself. So, but Juno, very solid unit. I would say Juno is an 85. Is that fair? Yeah, that's fair. Then we go for the next unit, which is probably Sierra. Yes, sir, Sierra. Sierra's probably also a little bit below 50 win rate, is it not? Yeah, 48. Sierra's one of those units that is just a very, very high pick rate, but because of that, everyone spams her. She doesn't get the highest win rate out there. Probably hard counted. Oh, by Kinky. Oh, lol, random. But yeah, hard counted by the LD units. Hard counted by Nana, that kind of stuff. Also by AoE CC cleave, besides the speed lead, if you're still outsped, that doesn't bring the most to the table. But overall, still a solid unit. Is actually one of the few units, well, it's getting some more units here and there, that you can draft as first pick. And therefore, Sierra still gets a 85 from me. The next unit is probably the Lima. Is Lima even used? Lima even used? Not a big fan of Lima. I'd rather draft Praha than Lima in most cases. Lima does have a high win rate but a lower pick rate. I do feel like Praha is better than Lima in most cases, and the main reason for that is I like Praha for being water. If let's say the Lima skill set on a water unit, I would have liked Lima more. The main reason for that is Praha is one of those final picks that fits in the moment enemy drafts like heavy fire. If you had the skill set of a Lima on a water unit, I would have put Lima higher for sure, maybe even 2 up. But I don't really like the skill set on a unit that's neutral, so for that reason, it's still the same amount of likelihood of getting stunned by an Okeanos or a Karnal or anything like that. And for that reason, I don't feel like Lima is that great. I have seen some Limas on triple revenge, which I think is pretty neat. If I had a Lima, I would probably put Lima on triple revenge as well with 100 crit rate. I think she's pretty dope on that. But besides that, Lima 75 for me. If you have a very crazy triple revenge set, might be a little bit higher, but it's still a niche pick, I would say. Then the next unit is the one and only Gianna. Gianna's actually getting worse in current meta, and it has a couple of reasons. The main reason is there's a lot of other strippers which are very strong right now. Also the coming of Heigang. Heigang is pretty strong right now. But also Changpang is a good stripper. You got like a whole bunch of good strippers with more everything. Most of them have a speed lead or something like that. And Gianna doesn't have that. Gianna is still one of the best bruisers in the game. One of the speed leads that can actually, or one of the strippers that can actually fight in a bruiser team very, very well and doesn't really need follow-up AOECC kind of stuff. And the thing is, well, hard counted by Cleave, but you can also see she's very hard counted the moment she gets outspat and then actually CC cleaved. So what you see is that these kind of units actually counter her. The AOECC units counter her pretty bad, but I still think Gianna's very strong. But she is been getting worse in current season, I would say. But still, Gianna, I would say 95. I think 95 is fair. I might have to change that later, but I would say 95 for Gianna for right now, and I might change it later depending on what other units come in that tier as well. So then we go on to the Oracles, the OGs. The first OG on the list is Annabelle. Been used quite a lot to counter Giannas these days. Been good against countering segments, pretty decent. It's pretty bad against, well, yeah, all of this kind of LD spam, Leos. Quite a lot of pick rates still. I do like the unit, but I don't like it as much as some other people do. I would say, I'm not sure, 75 for Annabelle or 80 for Annabelle. No, I would say 80, because she has some good value against like pretty strong units to counter it. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's always the best way to go. But a good Annabelle and a proccing Annabelle can heal a lot. Provide 3-turn armor breaks, slows. It is very deadly. It is very, very deadly. Rika. One of those units you see lesser and lesser or fewer and fewer. Still 50% win rate, not picked that often. Of course, always picked in no immunity, no cleansing kind of teams. And I feel like she still fits that job very well. Probably one of the best for that job still out there. Just an 80 pick, just a late pick that's always been solid. Then we go for Charlotte. Charlotte, unit I've been that I've ruined up recently. Charlotte, yes sir, is a 51.48 win rate. Very good against a couple of very strong units. The Rika, well, okay, apparently, but it counters Gianna, Qingtian Dasheng, Ganymede, Sierras, all of that kind of stuff. It's one of those AOECC units to counter AOECC units, because you outspeed with a Chibu or a Triton, you push in that one, and it just boosts away the whole thing. Of course, very bad into Douglas, Leos, Ragdolls probably, Phalantis, all of the kind of stuff. Karnal a little bit, so those kind of units. It's also pretty good into the Chibu still, even though it's a bad against rate here. So I feel like Charlotte is actually a very solid unit. The reason that it's also very good into fire units is because it's multi-hitting. But there's also glancing. And because of the glancing, a Qingtian Dashang is less likely to land its stuff. A Changpong is less likely to land its stuff because of the glancing. And video is coming for glancing buffs, but that one has been delayed a little bit. I'm actually thinking about maybe one-upping Charlotte. Would that be too strong? No, you can't pick her that often. And it's only for the CC cleave. You cannot draft her into like that many things. So I think it's only for CC cleave. And for me it really works because I'm CC cleaver. But I don't feel like I would put her higher than 85 because of the amount of times that you can actually draft her properly. Then we have Laura. Laura. A unit I haven't seen in a while. Didn't Diligent draft it once and it was absolutely garbage at that time? I think it was. Laura, I'm not a big fan. She's very fast right now on the base speed, but you need very fast units to follow up on that, which is not easy right now. And I don't know, she doesn't do that much. It's not my kind of style. I would say 70. Just a very fast stripper. It's kind of like a Triton, but doesn't push back. So if you draft her and your whole team is built around her, and then you actually have like a super fast Ganymede on Vio, because she can follow up after this, or you have a crazy Despair set, which is then faster because of the Laura, but I don't know. I would rather have that Despair set on a Juno, or the Despair set on a Heigang, or anything like that. So that's Laura for me. Next one is Nikki, the one and only unit from Big V. And man, that unit hit hard. If you have crazy runes, crazy artifacts, she does a crazy amount of damage, but apparently her win rate is not that high. Why is she bad? Okay, she's bad into these kind of units. I'm surprised she's bad into Antares. I'm very surprised about that. Or now that she's good against those units. Sorry, my bad. She's bad against AoE CC cleave. Does make sense. AoE CC cleave, she's just off the field, insta dead, pretty easy. But she's very good against those kind of units because like half of the units they just halfway die from that. I feel like Nikki is as good as runes you can actually put on her, and mainly also artifacts you can put on her. But then again, if you have those lacking, she's not that great. So I would say a Nikki with crazy rune quality is up here. I've seen some Nikki from a guildie of mine. That Nikki is not that squishy and heals for 27k on an attack buff. I'm like, yeah, your team is full HP right now with a cleanse. Like the only thing that heals that much next to it is probably a Praha S3, but it makes you sleep and doesn't cleanse you. Nikki just has to heal. So yeah, I would say Nikki. I'm kind of surprised about the relatively low win rate of Nikki. But maybe too many people are just spam drafting Nikki, which is also not good. Because if you drafted against this kind of shit, you did. She no taking turn? She did. So yeah, those are all of the OGs. Next up, we have a few of the Hell Ladies. Wait, gotta sell a few gems on my accounts. Yeah, I think we're the same with Charlotte. Charlotte is also very depending on, like they are high up there, but they are very high depending on the rune quality for the Nikki and the Charlotte on the 85. So first off, Rocky, you don't see much. I don't think I will put it in there. It is it is technically a counter to Nana, but it's a terrible counter to Nana. Don't use this. No bueno. No. So, okay, no Raki. Okay, next one. Ethna. Ethna is 47. It is good against some of those units that you would outspeed and then you can CC them. Personally, not a big Ethna fan. I have seen Obabo shine with it really well. I have seen Philippity lose SWC with his Ethna. So, there is something to say for both worlds. Let's say it like that. Personally, not a big Ethna fan. I runed her up, skilled her up, used her a little bit. I couldn't really see her work, but I know some people can make it work in some specific drafts, mainly if it's one of those kind of like one-trick kind of teams. I feel like Ethna fits in, but otherwise not really. So Ethna is a 75 for me. Also, win rate's not really showing. Play rate is not really that high. Sure, again, I totally can understand that some people have very good win rates with this. If it really fits in your team, Ethna is very strong. But for me, I don't fear Ethnas that much. I don't really see the potential in Ethna that much. Even when I see Obabo play with it, I'm like, why are people drafting this way into it? I think it's pretty easy to counter. So that's my take on Ethna. Then we have the next, Asima. Put her on 70, I think less utility than pressure than the 75. Yeah, I think I agree. I put her on 70. It's very, very team specific where it works, I guess. And I don't know. It's one of those units, I don't know. Not my kind of thing. Then we have Asima. Asima is the upgrade of a Rika, pretty much, which mostly also reflects in the tier list and everything like that. Yeah, the thing is with Ethna, if you expect to strip and then stun and she doesn't stun, you're already kind of fucked because you did too little damage or whatnot. But Asima is just very simple, just a 1-up from Rika. It's anything Rika would do, Asima probably does better. That's Asima. You need good runes on it to make it shine. Additional damage artifacts make it real good, but 85, simple as that for Asima. Then we have the next unit, which I thought would be good, but they thought that themselves also would be too good, so they actually nerfed it down again. And now it's terrible and no one wants to use it. They already nerfed it before people actually thought. I thought a 50% chance to strip was good, but I don't know. I felt like they could have kept it. Because currently the strip is so inconsistent. Kraka S3 is not really that good. I don't really think people are using this, so I'm not even gonna put it in there. Yeah, less than 1% play rate, I don't care. Rigel. Less than 1% play rate as well, not used that much. I think it's one of those niche picks that can work from time to time. I can see the potential in this counter pick, but it's Rigel 65 for the Liches and Terrace. And Terrace, of course, the one and only 48 win rates, 60 play rate. Still a very good unit. One of those hard counters into Tablo. The only issue with Antares is right now, Antares is worse in current meta because Antares is so hard countered by Wusa. Literally, Antares is supposedly good against a Diana, but that Diana pretty much still has free play if there's a Wusa on the field. So that makes it probably bad against... Oh, it doesn't even show. Does it show Wusa? Yeah, it does show Wusa, I'm not surprised. So yeah, that makes Antares a little bit worse in current meta than used to be in previous metas. However, Diana is pretty much spammed in current meta, which does make Antares still a very viable pick. And I would say Antares 75. Main reason for that is, I think too many people are spamming Antares in just terrible situations. No way, I actually give Antares 80. I legit give Antares 80 because of how much Diana is used currently. The only thing is, it is hard counted by a whole bunch of units, but it's still 9 out of 10. If you draft Antares well, you don't even need it to proc, you just need it to be on the field. So I would say Antares is still 80. Antares can make you win drafts that you should lose. So Antares for that is actually a good unit. But it can also make you lose from time to time. It happens. Ciao. Dragon Knights. 46. I feel like Chao's kind of overrated. Sure, a good rune Chao that procs can do a lot. But I've actually seen Chao's lose to Karnals +1. Chao is pretty... Like, Chao is supposedly countering Gianna. Yeah, Gianna just puts more buffs. If Chao would remove all debuffs on the time he gets a turn, then Chao is OP. Then Chao is easily like 50-51% win rate. But since Chao has the struggles against multiple debuffs, Chao is not that crazy good. And for that reason, also the units that it hard counters, it's not being played as much anymore, like an Okeanos. Karnal's still there, but I feel like Chow is kind of overrated. Sure, a good rune, anything can work, but for Chow, I don't know. Fire Ryu is better than Chow. I've seen Fire Ryu win against Chow. I would say 70 or maybe even 65. I would say 65. 65 is fair for Chow. Sure, if you draft Chow in the perfect draft, suddenly he becomes very good. But there's not that many drafts where Chow is the perfect unit. Where you would say like, yo, I want to toss my best bruiser set to this Chow right now. Because he's gonna do crazy shit all the time. It's just that one match he could shine, but that's about it. Also, his win rate shows that 9 out of 10 he's not doing that crazy stuff with this kit. Also, both of them are used in different scenarios, so they're not equal to each other. One is better in one scenario, the other one is better in other scenarios. Next unit is Leica. Also a unit you don't see as much anymore because you have better options. Fire Ryu. 45 win rate. I don't know. I think people also tend to overdraft him when he's not needed. I think so, but I think a lot of people see too much potential in him and therefore draft him. That people is like, oh, it's a full fire team, Chow will solo. No, Chow will not solo your full fire team. There's still a lot of options where your Chow just get hella destroyed. So, with that, yeah, I feel like 65 is good. Leica is even worse in my opinion. Leica's definitely worse. 60. I don't like Leica that much. It's a decent unit. Again, perfect scenarios, full win team. It could probably be good, but I think it's pretty trash. It's not trash tier yet, but it's not as good. It is bad against, well, everything. Good. Even the good against it has low win rates against those. Yep. Okay. Oh, Leica. Then we have the Leo. Leo, on the other hand, is a very strong unit. Whoops, I have to put it here. Leo, 51 win rate, very high ban rate. Good against more kind of teams. That's why we saw Tars lose against Ismo. Very solid draft, good just going randomly. Leo and Tars totally fucked up the draft of Tars, especially if it procs a little bit. But Leo still also countered by a few other things. But I think a late Leo pick is solid. It's strong. Would I say it's... yeah, I think I would give Leo 85 because the moment you draft in Leo is you just have to ban it. It's too often a must ban in so many drafts, and if there's 2 must bans, you just win because of that. And Leo enables a lot of drafts where it becomes 2 units are must bans, and therefore Leo 85. I think that's very fair. Then we have the one and only Jaeger. The Jägermeister, 50.45 win rate, strong against Lulu's, Riley's, Terrace, that kind of jazz. Bad against Nanas, probably, like everything. CC, so he's actually still bad into anything that pushes back attack bar, he's bad against. Not surprised. I don't think it's a super solid unit, but I do feel like it's better than a Chow, because Jaeger can actually do a lot of damage very soon. He needs 1 tap and he can do a lot of damage. Only stupid thing for me about Jaeger is, why can Jaeger be scrolled by a Joe Gunn or something? That's the only thing I have with Jaeger. I think I might even one-up the Jaeger. I feel like Jaeger is actually... yeah, 75. I feel like Jaeger 75 is fair. Because the moment he gets... he doesn't need armor break, he doesn't need attack buff, he just does a lot of damage. If you run him properly... he does a lot of damage. I wish his counter rate on his passive would be more, so he has more potential to solo stuff. But 75 I feel is fair. Then we have the one and only Ragdoll. Ragdoll, the one and only unit always at the top. And it's actually for me one of those units that's definitely back at the top. Because Nana Ragdoll is very strong. You have AoE armor break, your Ragdoll goes one, yeah, bam, and he fucking kills shit. You have Wusa, Ragdoll, you just give crazy shields, everything. Yeah, good with, not surprised, very good with the Nana and that kind of stuff. It's bad against some weird units. Tianlang makes sense, Nana makes sense. Without LDs, weak against one-shots, Wusa's too OP. But yeah, I would totally agree that Ragdoll goes straight to the 95 range. Because just, it's... I felt like Ragdoll was actually lowering down in previous metas, especially with Kaki and that kind of stuff. But currently, Kaki kind of stuff is kind of removed. You see a lot more Wusa kind of play. You see a lot more turn 2 Bruiser kind of stuff. Your Ragdoll likes your turn 2 Bruiser kind of stuff. So if you're a Ragdoll owner, you can be happy. Without Wusa and Nana, what would you give Ragdoll? I think without those, I would probably put him 90, but with, definitely 95. This season we'll have 2 balanced patches or it will never happen. I'm not sure. I think we have a shorter season and then at the end of the season, that kind of stuff. Looks like there's room for Nikki Hasimahan to move up. I don't think so. I don't think so. The only one I would potentially move up from that range would be, I would say, Han and Akroma. But we might get to that point later. I'm not sure yet. I think it might happen that I move up Akroma and Han because those units are just solid. Akroma even more. Personally, I like Akroma more than I like Han right now, which is pretty odd. Yeah, okay. We're going to move a few units up. I move Akroma up for sure, and Han is a maybe for me. Akroma's just a very hard counter to a good side of the meta, and yeah, Han is just very good with a Nana, so I think I move both up. Yeah, they're stronger than what's next to it. Nikki, I feel like, is still kind of one of those units that needs a team around her to really shine, whereas a Han and an Akroma don't really need that as much. So 1 up of Akroma and Han to 90. Then we have the monkeys. I've been seeing some more Shitho, aka the Shiho, aka the Water Monkey, aka 48.68% win rates. Isn't Han weakened by Nana meta? I think Han is one of those few units that can still break through that kind of stuff. I've been seeing a few more people use this to decent success. I ruined it up myself, but I feel like people just like, it's just, and it's dead. It just dies. Wusa S2, it dies. I don't know. Base HP is garbage, base defense is garbage, and you ruin it for like a lot of damage speed and stuff most of the time. Bad against Dianas is very high in the meta. Nanas are very high in the meta. I feel like it's a decent unit, but it's one of those, it's on par with the other water units that you feel like, okay, it could work here and there, but most of the time doesn't. Then we have the Mei Ho Wang. Mei Ho Wang, 42 win rate. Holy shit, what's this shitter? The good against are still negative win rates. Well, you're a joke. Holy shit. I thought this unit was actually legit, but for this win rate, I can't give you credits, man. That's a terrible win rate. Literally, you're good against this. It's just a terrible unit. Holy shit. But it is. How much is it used? 1% pick rate. Meh. But let's say for this, I give you credits. Close to Laika? Nah, under Laika. Under Laika. I don't know. Wind Monkey is decent. Let's say what this thing says about the Xingzi. Xingzi, 47.72. Good against Heigang teams. Good against... Oh, that's odd. Good against Tesarion. I don't know. Bad against... Yeah, a bunch of stuff that makes sense. I don't really see the use of him that much, to be honest. I thought about drafting him into a Diana a few times, but I didn't really feel it. I do have to give him some credit for the win rate that he has, but I feel like it's not that crazy good or anything. Use him against Nana, Dianas. This thing is already countered by... If his stun rate was higher, I would have liked him more, but his stun rate is so low. You're really dependent on what the stun rate is for his counters and that kind of stuff. If he doesn't stun, he's pretty shit. And the moment someone drafts a Wusa has water, Monkey is countered. You're off. You're done. Monkey's not gonna do jack shit. So, I don't know. Maybe 1 up. What do you guys say? Monkey 70 or Monkey 65? I would personally say 65. Make him despair. Ugh. Most people say 65, so let's go for 65. Monkey. Then the next one is Qingtian Dasheng. Holy shit, this unit is OP. Qingtian Dasheng. 52 win rate, very strong against. Oh, you're supposed to counter stuns. Not. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're supposed to counter stuns. Not. This thing is broken, man. The only thing that actually kills Qingtian Dasheng is an Acroma, which is just a hard counter by passive. And it's just AoE CC'd. Like, the moment he gets AoE CC'd, he's just screwed. But that's just more of a drafting rather than this thing being bad. A straight up Qingtian Dasheng 95. Easily 95. I wouldn't put him higher than 95 though, but I would say 95 is very solid. Yeah. Wouldn't put him on 100. Would I put him on 100? I am thinking about maybe an in-betweener tier, but I'm not sure yet. Currently, let's say 95. 95 is good. Yeah, that's what I think about as well. I feel like the monkey is better than Ragdoll and Gianna in current state. Or is it though? Yeah, one turn and you never get out. But the thing is, if you draft properly into the monkey, monkey never takes a turn, you win. So it's not impossible to win against the monkey. You just have to draft like properly against. So there are some counters to its draft while everything can be countered, but yeah, I feel like he still needs to land shit. If he doesn't land shit, you're done. That's the yeah, okay. For that reason, I put monkey on 95. Because if you get RNG'd, he doesn't land shit, you fucked. You're absolutely fucked. What's the ban rate? Ban rate's 30. Pretty high. Yeah, I am thinking maybe about the 70. Ooh, do I want to go in-betweener tier? Yeah, I go for in-betweener tier. Let's go in-betweener tier. Row above. That's why I make these lists like this. In-betweener tier. Monkey. Let's put it on another red. And I only put the monkey there. I'm not going to put Gianna in there because I feel like Gianna's worse in current meta. I might put Ragdoll up there. Because Ragdoll just feels very strong in current meta. Wait, let me re-evaluate the Ragdoll. I am not going to put Gianna up there, not because I'm biased saying my Gianna shit or anything. I just feel like there's a lot of counters to Gianna right now, and that makes her worse. So Ragdoll is hard countered by Nana and pretty much Wusa and that kind of stuff. I feel like Ragdoll goes up there because Ragdoll's just very strong in current meta. I feel like these units are just very, very strong in current meta, and therefore they're up there. Gianna is one tier below that. There's maybe some people who are gonna disagree with me on that, but I feel like Gianna has a lot of counters by outspeed stripping, not having will runes, just drafting in a unit with a cleanse that is very fast on Nemesis or anything. You could even put in a Tiana that's on Nemesis and that kind of stuff, so I feel like there's a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna put these up there, because I feel like Ragdoll's very strong in current meta. Like, Gianna is just one unit you can also just ban out, but this is more of a team player, I guess. Also, ban rate is 22. How much is ban rate of Gianna, actually? Gianna ban rate is 30. Okay, Gianna ban rate is still pretty high, but that's just my feeling, my biased opinion. You can think about it whatever you want. Then we go on to the next monkey. I just want to see the win rate. I want to see the win rate of this joke. What's your win rate? 43. Yeah, we're not even gonna talk about you. Okay, next unit. No one uses the Beast Monks. No one really uses Gemini, that kind of stuff. Fran, an old unit. Old friend. Hehe, you saw what I did there. 46. It's good against Riley, which is actually her replacement in most cases. Bad against a bunch of other stuff. I feel like she's still usable here and there, but people just don't give her the good runes anymore, and therefore she kind of starts lacking, I guess. You can pick ragdolls in all teams. I feel like you... Not in all, but none of these units you can draft in all teams. Not at all. Nothing that I placed here so far you can draft in every team. But yeah, Fran, I feel like Fran has some replacements. I don't feel like people put good runes to it anymore, but I still feel like Fran is still pretty decent, but it's just, you have other better replacements, so I would say Fran 70. Next up is Sky Dancers, it seems, and we only have Yan Hong and Miang. Yeah, 70, Nemtrap, yeah, something like that. So Yan Hong actually has been very good in current meta. You see it more with the Gani Hathor coming up. 50 win rate, that's actually strange. I kind of expected more. Yan Hong does a lot of damage with additional damage artifacts and that kind of stuff. It's good against Segment, yeah, you just outspeed that shit. It's bad against, okay, the Nana kind of stuff. Yeah, Nana kind of stuff makes her worse. But I feel like Yan Hong is very strong in current meta. It's still on the Swift builds, but I'm not sure. With that win rate 85, otherwise 90. Yeah, I agree. The win rate seems kind of low-ish, and for that reason I kind of -1 her. And that's mainly the win rate. That otherwise I would say 90, but I have to listen a little bit to the win rate, so... Good with Narsha, I do understand that. Good with Leo, I do not understand that. Good with Hathor, I very much understand that. Okay, so that's all for that. Now we go to the one and only Pioneers. Holy shit, this unit is broken as fuck at the moment. Just do an S2 for like 80% of your HP. Man, this unit is... Now look at this pick rate. 46 and still a 52 win rate. That's just broken AF, man. Bad against. Oh, it's bad against Nigong. That's kind of funny, though. That is legit kind of funny. No Wooyoung? No one uses Wooyoung in RTA. But yeah, this thing goes straight up. I don't feel like it's 100. I don't... would I put it on 100, Wusa? I started first picking Wusa and I noticed there, like, holy shit, this thing is actually very, very broken. But you can't draft it into everything. You can't really draft it into everything. What's the pick rate? Pick rate is... Man, this thing, I'm pretty sure this is the highest pick rate out there. Wait, monsters. Monsters. Pick rate. No, wait, there's actually... Whoa, there's a lot of units with a high pick rate. Holy shit. Okay, I think with this pick rate, number 5 pick rate. Okay, that's less than I thought, actually. Still very high. Wooyoung is 50% win rate. Wooyoung probably has no pick rate. And it's only being used if you cleave. And like, cleave is not... it's actually a higher pick rate than I expect. But it's just cleave. Good with... cleave. This is just one person. It's literally just one person spamming Wooyoung, Neftis, Eludia. Yeah, of course that works. Of course it works. Of course. Not as good as Lulu from last season. Yeah. It doesn't cleanse. And you can't fit it in every team. I don't know. I don't know. Because if I would have put him 100, then I would have to put something else higher up. And I'm not really sure if I want to make another in-betweener tier. So... The thing is, Nana, everyone already knows. Like, no spoilers there. Everyone already knows Nana is the highest tier. 100%. But, do I feel like I need another in-betweener tier for just Wusa in between the Ragdoll and the Monkey? Because I actually feel like Wusa is better than the Monkey and the Ragdoll. Because you can draft it into a lot more stuff. Whereas the Monkey and the Ragdoll, you can't draft it into everything. So I kind of feel like I need another in-betweener tier. Monkey and Ragdoll back to 95. No, they're better than Gianna. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea what someone just said. Let's move Gianna down. And we go for a below tier. And for the below tier, we add in the 92.5. We change the color just to be slightly consistent. We go for that Gianna down to 92.5. Ragdoll and Monkey down to 95. And Wusa up to 97.5. Because Wusa is stronger than the rest of that shit. New tier for Nana, God tier. I don't really want to do God tier. It's just, I don't know. Not my thing to do that, but I like to keep these numbers consistent, and then at the bottom we have trash. But yeah, I think this is fair to do. This is definitely fair to do, because I started first picking Wusa, and it literally went better than first picking Karnal. Like, what? And my Karnal has, like, I have pretty much one of the most crazy runed Karnals out there, not gonna lie. Then we have Chiwu. Han should be lower because you need crazy runes for it. Then Nikki and Charlotte also should be lowered because you also need crazy runes for that. So that's... yeah, can't figure that out for every unit to just say like something is worse or better because you need crazy runes. We had Chiwu. I feel like Chiwu is actually pretty good into current meta again. Win rate has been slacking a little bit, but it is pretty good against some of these units. If there is not this kind of stuff, then I feel like that Chiwu is actually one of the best stripper out there again right now. Sure, Chiwu is kind of a shitter because you have 8 resistance checks, 4 times for strip, 4 times for pushback. But I feel like Chiwu is good. I feel like Chiwu is very solid. And some people might disagree with me on this, but I feel like Chiwu is probably one of the best strippers out there that is a consistent stripper. Because Changpong is a very good stripper, but not a consistent stripper. Moore is a very good stripper, but not a consistent stripper. Chiwu is the only one consistent stripper of those units that I would say is very good. Yeah, he's only bad into Moors and... no, actually he's not bad into Moor. Wait, what's the win rate of this thing against Moor? Does it show bad against Moor? No, it doesn't even show bad against Moor. Because the thing is with Moor, if you push back the whole team besides Moor, Moor pushes back your team less than you just push back the team of the Moor. So that's the thing. Heigang is consistent. That's very true. Heigang is also up there. But Heigang doesn't have speed lead, which makes it different then. Because Moor has speed lead. Triton is worse because of no speed lead. What was the other one? Changpong does other extra stuff. So all of these strippers do something kind of extra, but therefore are not a main stripper. Heigang is a main stripper though. And Heigang is also very solid. But Heigang doesn't push back. So that makes it a little bit more difficult to also... because Heigang, you cannot make Heigang on Swift. That's useless because you have to speed up everything after your Swift units. Your Vio is not going to catch up. Your Vio units can catch up to a Chiwu pretty easily. If it pushes back, of course. Yeah? But, okay. Let's continue. Pung Big, no one uses Nigong. Nigong has actually been used. And I'm not joking if I'm saying Nigong is actually legit. Nigong is actually legit. And it's 55 win rate. Okay, that's a very low pick rate. There's just... people very niche pick it the moment that the enemy just has no damage. And very little chance to kill anything. And you just out-sustain and kill something with the Heigang. It's so stupid. It's just one of those like very last picks and it just wins, man. It's very stupid. The thing is his S3 is very bad, but his S3 is only there for the passive. You have a passive part where you receive 15% less damage. That is more interesting. That one is more viable than the whole fucking revive on that dumb thing. Because his S2 is that strong. You only actually care about that passive revive. Like if I'm playing a, let's say, Juno or anything that can strip, I just throw that S3. They can strip the whole thing. I don't care, man. Your Reckless Assault? Your Reckless Assault is a joke. 15% damage gone. Yeah. Do you think they will buff up Nigong? Man, by all means, they're so gonna nerf this S2, man. I felt this S2 was in a good spot the moment that they had the bug where the 25% extra damage was not there. I feel like they should just straight up remove this 25% damage, man. This straight up 25% extra damage is so BS much damage for an S2 that you can spam every third turn. Or, yeah, every third turn, and that's just... it's too much, man. It's too much. What's good with Nigong? It's just a late pick. Nigong is a very good late pick if they cannot really CC you. If you're fighting Bruiser and the enemy doesn't have CC, you just throw in Nigong, it works. Yeah, just nerf the damage and then you're Gucci. You don't have to change like the mechanic of the thing, just nerf damage and it's Gucci. You should try crit damage Wusa or Nigong. It doesn't work anymore. It's fixed damage right now, so it doesn't work. But yeah, Nigong, 55 win rate. That's pretty pog. But I actually feel like, yo, Nigong, it's a late pick though. It's a very gimmicky-ish pick. But Nigong is an 80 pick. It's very gimmicky-ish though. And this win rate is kind of like misconception, very strange looking thing. But I don't think it's like, it's not really a 55 win rate, no. Because then, according to the win rate, strongest unit, tier 100, done. No. I feel like it's 80 tier, because you cannot draft it that much into stuff. Then we have the Wunsa. Wunsa is 50 win rate. Actually started lowering a bit. Interesting. Good against pretty much every other stripper out there. Fair, bad against Ragdoll, Leo, blah blah blah, not surprised. So I think the win rate is kind of because people are spamming him rather than it is being a bad unit. So for that reason, I feel like Wunsa... 85 Wunsa or 90 Wunsa? Nigong max 80, rather 75 because he's not the same level as Antares. Yeah, I think 75 Nigong is fine. 75 Nigong is fine and Wunsa on 85. Yeah, I will -1 the Nigong because you can only... Nigong is just a 5th pick. You're not gonna draft... If you draft Nigong any earlier than 5th pick, it's pretty shit. So... yeah, I would say 85 wounds is fine. Do you agree that he's bad against Leo? Leo pushback is 18, but wounds is mostly wounds is bad against well, it doesn't even show bad against Leo. Wait, oh, wrong one. Bad against Leo, yeah. The thing is, wounds are non-will, so you just and then you push him back. So that's the issue. So yeah, I think 85 wounds are solid. I like it. Then we have already had one unit that I've only seen myself use pretty much. I think pretty much no one else uses it. I'm no clue what the win rate is on this thing. But you rockers probably fuck up his win rate. But Veromos, I feel like Veromos is... I like Veromos. What's your speed gap for Antares speed? I like Antares on like 160 speed total. 160 to 180. So it can take a turn even if it's not proccing. But yeah, Veromos, it's pretty much just a counter to Nephthys. It's technically the only thing. But if you run him good, he's very good at his job. But technically it's only a counter against Gianna and Nephthys. Yeah, so I would say 70. It's just niche for me rather. Like most people wouldn't even put him on the list probably. I don't know what his pick rate is. 1.2. I don't know. Plus one. No, total 160. Antares total 160. No, you're not gonna go for 260 Antares, no. So yeah, you're aiming like plus 60, plus 50, plus 80, somewhere around there. Okay, then we have Brandia. Are people actually using Brandias? I know Brandia is a good drink, or that's brandy. Are you a good unit? 40, 32 pick rate. No one uses it. Not gonna bother. Sorry. Tiana. I feel like Tiana is actually pretty solid again. I've seen some people use Tiana to decent success. 3% win rate. Hey. Good counter against Hagang. That's actually a very interesting one because Hagang pushes up less than Tiana pushes up. And therefore Tiana is a straight counter to Hagang. Plus, you ignore the vert bullshit. Plus, if enemy Gianna started with an S3, you can cleanse all of that. So I actually feel like Tiana is a pretty solid counter to a whole bunch of stuff other people would struggle with. What about Trinity? No one uses that shit. Just for the sake of showing that no one uses that shit, Trinity, no one uses this shit. Okay, back to a unit that matters, Tiana. So I feel like Tiana's pretty solid. It's still kind of gimmicky-ish and counter to specific things, but I would say 75. Brandia is good. Brandia's 0.3% pick rate. Is that... I don't know. Trinity's still more pick rate than Monkey. Some people just want to use the 33 speed lead. That's the only reason Trinity's picked. But yeah, I would say 75 for Tiana. It's fair. Then we have Eludia. Elunia? Which one is it? I think it's Eludia, right? No, wrong one. Lucia? No. I was... Man, I always... Bowler. Queen. Eleanor. Ah, never mind, man. I've only been playing this game for 7 years. Who knows names? Who knows names? Eleanor, of course. 1.35% pick rate, 48.37 win rate. Good against these two, which is kind of interesting. Good with... The funny thing is, a lot of people say she's strong with Ganymede. Technically, yes, but then you have two of the same doing the same thing. And therefore it makes it worse. This thing is good with a Karnal. This thing is good with a... I don't know. This thing, for example, an old guildie of mine used it with Ken and Charlotte. Worked very well. So... Yeah, I like that. I like this unit. I feel like she should be higher win rate. But I would say 75. If she's your main team unit, it can work very well. Gimmicky-ish units, you have to draft in a specific scenario, but still pretty good. Also, this spare unit, pretty easy to run. Then we go for Lydia. Are people actually using Lydia in RTA? Apparently, but 0.16% doesn't count. We're not gonna fit that in. How do you run and Terrace? I assume despair on crit damage or just... No, I go for crit damage, but you go... I preferably go attack, crit damage, attack, and then add in a lot of substats for HP and defense. And then additional damage from attack, attack increasing effect, blah blah blah, yada yada. You gonna get it. The Tetra. Tetra is 46, but this is definitely one of those units. It's drafted at the moment. You're probably already losing the draft, and therefore the win rate is pretty low. Yeah, like drafting Tetra into a Chinky dashing. Like, do you think you're gonna get a turn? Do you think you're gonna get a turn? Of course you're not gonna get a turn. Holy shit, what are you expecting? Sure, it's good against Nethys, it's good against Hey Gang, it's decent against Juno, that kind of stuff, but do you think you're gonna get away with this? Of course not. But is it then an OP unit? No, also not. I would say 70. This kind of stuff. I saw quite some Swift Tetra. Swift Tetra is actually pretty pot. Because if you constantly lap the enemy Vio units, a Swift Tetra... No, wait, I actually have to switch my Tetra to Swift as well. Because if you think of it, a Vio Tetra is never gonna take a turn. Because if you constantly get pushed back to 0, you're not gonna get a turn. But a Swift Tetra that's a Swift Tetra that's faster than the enemy Vio units, you still get slow buffs, blah blah. But yeah, okay. Let's say you didn't get the slow buff. You're constantly gonna lap the enemy team. So every time there's debuffs, your Swift Tetra is like, yep, but have not. So yeah, I feel like Swift Tetra is pretty nice, and her base speed is not as terrible as her sisters, right? 110. Yo, 110. That's very easy to add Swift to. You can easily, like for most people, G3, you easily make this 300 speed plus. Easily. Solid. Okay, then we have Poseidon. Wait, why is there no Molly? First do the Molly. Molly. I feel like Molly's pretty strong current meta, and that is shown in the win rate. 51 win rate. Molly is a very good counter into Juno, those kind of units. Decent counter into Diana, but it's one of those units that they would fear, like, ooh, if I miss one critter right now, this Diana might get fucked up. But still pretty bad against AoE sleeps, AoE CCs, insta-kills, that kind of stuff. But I feel like Molly is solid. I feel like Molly can be drafted quite some. And I would feel Molly is at least 80. If the win rate is more than 10%, I would arguably say 85. Let's see. Win rate or pick rate is 14 and win rate is 51. That's... Hey, that gives me some value. I legit say Molly 85. You can pick it into every draft, but I feel like that's 14% pick rate on 51 win rate. That's higher. That's literally higher than everything here. Mine doesn't work. Yeah, I think some people are also overdrafting her and expecting her to always glance and that kind of stuff, but she's not really like that. Because the glancing rate is actually kind of minimum. It's just 15%. 15% glancing that's pretty much nothing. That's the same as your resistance check that sometimes works, sometimes don't. So, but if you draft it against certain units like, oh, you just stole half of my HP. Heal, done. So, yeah. Yeah, I feel like she's, what's she bet against if we hide LDs? Yeah, one shots, I guess. She also enables Nana. Yeah, and she's also good Molong counter. So, she doesn't show here as good against... Does she show as good against Molong? No, she's good against Chao. Yeah, for example, those units that just have like a bit of them. That's the thing. If you have a good 5th pick Nana, the enemy has too little damage, the team is never going to kill anything. And that's what some of these Nana... Or not Nana. Some of these Molly drafts just enable, which makes her pretty strong. Then we go into the Poseidon. Poseidon, 50 win rate, 6.19 pick rate. We got a person in between the 69. Good against the Tetra, good against... It's just AoE CC kind of stuff. And it's hard countered by, of course, a Ragdoll. Pretty funny about the Bison. Probably damage Bison or something. But I would say kind of a niche unit. Not as good as most of the AoE CC units out there. But when drafted in the good scenario... He is pretty strong. The only issue is, if you compare him to, let's say, a Charlotte. Charlotte does a lot of damage from additional damage artifacts. Poseidon doesn't have that. Poseidon, if he misses a pushback, you're just screwed. Charlotte has a 3-turn hit for the pushback. So, therefore, therefore, it's worse, I would say. And I would feel like, after turn 1... Charlotte does a lot more than the Poseidon. So for that reason, Poseidon is really turn 1 and you should be done. Charlotte can actually bruise her. And therefore I don't like Poseidon as much and therefore I would say Poseidon 75. Because he's also not a unit you're gonna throw in on Vio. Turn 2 silence. Turn 2 silence is decent. I do have to give. Yeah, that's something. S1 is really shitter though. What is he bad against? Ragdoll, Leo, this kind of stuff. That's probably a Nemtech, something. Being outsped. Yeah, I would say 75 is fine. He's also kind of squished most of the time because he doesn't do any damage. So you kind of need that crit rate. You kind of need that crit damage. You kind of need that attack. Whereas Charlotte, you could just pretty much go additional HP, additional damage from speed and HP, and you already have like decent amount of damage. You didn't even need attack or anything. Sure, it adds up if you actually do attack on Charlotte, because what's the base? I'm pretty sure that Charlotte has better base attack than this. Yeah, Charlotte actually has, what, 55 better base attack than that thing. So, yeah, it's just difficult to ruin a Poseidon as good as you could ruin a Charlotte. And Super Hugs, thanks for the raid, appreciate it. And yeah, also the 101 base, which is also worse. And I think also Poseidon awakens into crit rate and not accuracy, where Charlotte awakens into accuracy. If I'm not, I could be wrong, but... Wait, I can actually check that here, don't I? Yeah, awakens into accuracy, and Poseidon awakens... Oh, also accuracy. So that's same. Okay, next one. The next level shitter I don't like anymore. A lot of people still use him. I don't like him. I do not like him. 20% pick rate on a 47.67 win rate. This unit, if you expect this unit to stun, you are having a bad day. If you expect this unit to S2 what's it called? Increase the cooltime things, then it's a pretty solid unit that happens most of the time. But the S3 is... Oh wait, the S3 is such an inconsistent... You can 3 stones of 30%. Man, that's not even... Yeah. That's my take. And Wusa makes him... So yeah, that's my take on Okeanos. I feel like Okeanos... I drafted him main for a few seasons. I think he's not absolutely shit. He still has his decent picks. He is picked a lot. If you would pick him more in like consistent environments, he would be better. I would say Okeanos 80 tops. Worse than Poseidon? No, I don't think... I would say same or yeah. 75 Okeanos? Or 80 Okeanos? I would say 80 Okeanos because he has a lot of value. He has still shown a lot of value in tournaments. Because of SWC, you still see a lot of Okeanos. He still does a lot of damage. And he has a lot of value in the draft. And mainly because of the S2. S2 and damage. That's the main thing. If you draft Okeanos for S2 and damage, yeah, 80. But also it kind of shifted to a Swift Okeanos rather than a Via Okeanos. Okay, next up we have Triton. One of the few units that hasn't been changed for a while, but actually, if I'm not mistaken, he started off at 101 base speed as well. They changed the base speed increase at some point. So 48.55 win rate, a 3% pick rate. It's good against other strippers. He's a first pick unit. I would not first pick Okeanos anymore. Bad against, well, anything that kind of like passive. No passive. He's bad against passive. Well, not surprised. I feel like Triton is pretty solid, but it's very much a last pick unit. So I would say he has its value, but the value is just in the last pick. But he is a very solid last pick that could be a must ban, that kind of stuff. I would say 75. 75. Next to Banana Man. Banana Man is not on the chart. Banana Man is... no. Oh, no. No bueno, Banana Man. Okay, so we have a Triton on 75. Then we go for the next. The one and only Pantas. Puntus. Pick rate of Banana Man. Okay, let's check. Pick rate. Oh, I typed in Banana Man. These. Pick rate. Okay. I think not that many people use it. I'm the most. Wait, you know what's the most surprising thing about this? The fucking ban rate. Who the fuck bans this thing? In his right mind. Holy shit. Give me a gram of what that guy used. Holy shit. Okay, Pantas. Pantas' win rate actually started lowering quite some, because I guess people understood that Pantas is very bad against Juno. And Pantas technically is a worse Wusa, I guess. Yeah, it's very bad against the Molly, very bad against the Nana. I feel like Pantas kinda got lowered. But Pantas has Pantas luck. You guys have all seen my streams. Well, I guess, I hope, I don't know. But you know the Pantas luck, man. The Pantas luck, but that's just in 80. Douglas, we'll get to Douglas in a moment. I'm just going from top to bottom, and I'm hitting every champion. That makes sense. Good stats for entire man. I don't know. Out of the blue, I don't know, man. It looks fine. As long as it's good efficient roots, it looks fine. It also really depends on like what kind of stats you're at. So, wait, Pantas, I placed it at 80 right now. I am going to put Pantas at 85. It's still a very solid unit. It's still a very unit you can draft into a lot of stuff. But, yeah, you have this thing that just... The Wusa just slaps you in the face like no tomorrow. But Pantas is still pretty good. 85 Pantas. Next up, we have Segments and Bastet. Let's go for Bastet first. I think throughout the years that I made the tier list, I have placed Bastet in nearly every tier except at the top. always felt like Bastet is really one of those cleave units, but I also saw that it's not just the cleave units, you can also just use it with like some other stuff. Most of the time still cleave unit. And I'm not a big fan of cleave. Hard counted by this, does make sense. And by this, yeah, all makes sense. All makes very much sense. So I would say Bastet is a 75 or a 70. I would say if you really build your team around drafting Bastet often, I would say 75. Otherwise 70. Like, I think most people don't even have... If you don't have your team really built around Bastet, you don't even draft it, right? What's the pick rates? Pick rates 6. I can get away with a 75 for Bastet, I would say. Sekhmet. Sekhmet is really one of those units that's better in the draft than in the actual match. Same as like the old Daphnis. Well, Daphnis still, but it's one of those units that's just very strong in the current drafting. But then in the actual match, you just put the S3 and something is... it doesn't land and you're just like, yep, well, that was my match. I just bet it on a 15% checker. So that's already like straight up waste. Also, if you do land it, Sekhmet's 9 out of 10, very squish, easy to kill, anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. But Sekhmet's still 8% pick rate, probably drafted often against shit where it's not really supposed to land. Why Juno so high? Juno's very strong. Juno is very, very strong. No, Praha is just lower because she doesn't counter everything. The Juno thing is just the passive. The passive makes it very strong. Praha doesn't have passive. That's the main thing. So yeah, back to the Sekhmet. Sekhmet. I feel like Sekhmet is still pretty strong because it has that much value into the draft. And because of draft value, I put Sekhmet at 80. Because of match value, I put it lower. But Sekhmet, I'm not surprised. Yeah, the ban rate is very high. So, for a unit with that high ban rate, I feel like it still has quite some value. And therefore, 80. Wouldn't say 85, though. Nah. Wouldn't say 85. Next up, Hathor. Probably, is it not? Hathor. Wait, did I miss any of those? Not really. Did I miss any of those? Not really. Someone used Lisa, but that could have been a Jamire or anything as well. I played against Big V using a Lisa against, you know, like... Well, that did nothing. So, yeah, it can work, but it's not that just crazy, I would say. It's also just one person using something niche. It's also not the first time I've seen it. Marvin also used to do that. Isis, no one uses Isis. Hathor, 52 win rate. And actually 60 win rate into Sekhmet, because probably it's mostly used with a Gani. It doesn't even show high with Gani, okay, interesting. But high with Wusa, interesting. It's bad against AWCC, makes sense. Bad against Wusa, funny. But yeah, I think Hathor is pretty strong in current meta again. It gives a lot of potentials. I feel like I should draft more Hathor as well, but... I would say Hathor is at least 85, maybe even higher. 4% pick rate. 4.5. It's not as versatile, often picked as most of the stuff in here, but I would say 85. Like Druid, we will get there. I just go through all of the units from A to C, so we keep it like family by family, makes it easier. Then we had next up Isis. Nope. Wedjet is used. I'm gonna check Isis for the win rate. Actually, I'm curious. Yeah, nothing special. Wedjet, I see it used sometimes. I'm really not a fan. How is Yan Hong 50 win rate? I don't know. People just mess her up. I don't know. I'm just going for... No, wait. Let's do Nephthys first because Wedjet is solo and family. Makes more sense. Nephthys first. Nephthys is 50 win rate. 50.70. Actually surprisingly low. Bad against Akroma, Ragdoll. That kind of stuff. Does make sense. Good with AWCC. Also does make sense. Onyuki. Still in there. I would say for the Nefties. Nefties for me is a 90, I would say. The win rate is not really showing though. Which is kind of strange. The win rate is not really showing for Nefties. Good with LD. Okay, let's hide the LDs. What's it good with? Yeah, still pretty high win rates. I feel like people, the reason that Nefties has a low win rate is because people first pick Nefties. Or second and third pick Nefties. And then you know what's coming. And people have their counters prepared to their Nefties teams. But if you draft Nefties in slot 4 or slot 5, where you just need a CC unit or semi-CC unit that also has a speed lead, I feel like Nefties would have a very much higher win rate. So I feel like people are kind of overdrafting Nefties, and therefore her win rate is not that high. But I would say 90. Maybe also because I'm a little bit biased, because Gianna Nefties is a pretty strong combo. But I can feel that you could do that with any unit, actually. Just if you need your second speed lead, I think it's one of the most solid second speed leads you could pick in there. So for that reason, solid 90. Yes, sir. Okay, and then we go to Wedjet. Already saw Wedjet was a 47 point something win rate. I don't like Wedjet that much. It's one of those niche picks. Kind of works with Molong. I've seen some Molong one-trick snipe kind of comps. And then you just ban out the Molong and suddenly it has like no damage. And they already picked the Juno, so you can counterpick Juno into Wedjet. But actually it's just a very shit team. So 70 for Wedjet. Because he's kind of unique speed booster with speed lead. But besides that, it's not that crazy. Now we have P-Sama. Or Samath, or whatever you want to call it. A 50.39 win rate and a 5.21 pick rates, which is not bad. It's pretty much good against cleaves, as I can see here. Bad against everything else. I'm not sure if I would say 80 though. I'm thinking maybe 80, 75 for sure, maybe 80. Huh. Yeah, I would say Pisama 80, but it's just because of the speed lead mainly. It doesn't do too much besides that in most matches, but yeah, I would give it 80. First picking Molongani, well that's pretty old school. That is pretty old school. What else do we have? We have Daphnis. Not a unit you see much, but again, like the segment, it's one of those units. Very strong in draft, not as strong in normal. Good against Mephisto, interesting. Good against Bolfred, did not expect. Thoughts on Beery, not crazy unless you have a Han. One of those niche units I still don't really like, never really liked. Can work here and there, but it's just not really my thing. It's just not really my thing. Wait. Someone wants to know something for a second, which happens sometimes. Okay, yes, continue. Ganymedes. I feel like Ganymede's pretty strong in current meta. Ganymede is just always such an... Your wife? I don't have a wife. No wife for me. But Ganymede is a very strong enabler for a lot of units. Good with OP units and Herney for some weird reason. But that's probably like three matches Herney. This win rate. Okay, done. Get more than 3 that you get. What's the flash behind you? What flash? There's a wall behind me, not a flash. Oh, flag. Well, technically it's a towel, which friends of mine wrote some stuff on. But it's in the colors of a flag. It's the Maltese flag. I was there for, well, 10 years back or something. But kind of side-tracking. Bananaing. Ganymede. Let's continue. Ganymede. 50 win rate, 19 pick rate, 14 ban rate, 21 lead. I'm mostly surprised about the 21 lead, actually. But Ganymede, just a very solid pick. 85, always been there solid. Always will be there solid. Yep. Pretty simple to please, I guess. Genny is good with Wusa. True, true, true. There's a lot of things where Genny is good with. 90? I'm not sure about 90, though. Is Genny better than the Charlotte and everything? It's more versatile. You can draft Genny in more drafts, though. That is true. It gives some more versatility to your draft. It fits a lot of drafts. And Genny is good against Wusa, yeah. And it's also good with Wusa. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's... Wait, does it actually show good against? No. Yeah, it's... Yeah, for that reason, I agree Genny has a lot of options. And Genny 90. I feel that. I feel Genny 90. The pick rate doesn't really show it that much, but I feel like there's a lot of options where Genny shines better than another unit. Only issue you could run into is that he is... how do you say it? If he's fighting full immunity, he is not good into full immunity. That's your only issue. But if you draft it, if you mention it that it never gets drafted into full immunity, he's very strong. He's good against Fire Monkey. Yeah, he's good against Fire Monkey because he enables the other units next to you to kill the Fire Monkey pretty easily. That's the main reason. I know that it's gonna happen later, but we're gonna have more in-depth information here than just 5 units in the future. But when that's going to happen, I don't know. Oberon! Oberon. Very low pick rate. I have seen Oberons against Leo picks, and where Oberon is just on double Nemesis will, with attack, crit damage, attack, and he just one-shots like Leos. And the Leo is like, oh, I'm gonna hit the Oberon because it's probably squishy. It is squishy, and then bam, Leo dead. That's pretty funny. But besides that, I don't think Oberon is that great. I kinda like this. Kinda like this. 70 for Oberon. Then we have Nyx. Nyx. A unit I haven't seen being played as much anymore. 49 win rate. 2% pick rate. Bad against Ragdolls. Yeah, the Wusa. The Wusa is a killer. Wusa is definitely a killer. Nyx for me goes 70. That's not Nyx. Go away, you're not being Nyx, sir. Where's Nyx? Nyx. Wait, why did it? I think I moved it, but whatever. Okay, 75 for Nyx. Next unit up on the chart is Pandas. Panda. Molong back in meta. And Molong is strong back in meta. However, Molong 48% pick rates. Or 48% win rates. Molong is very good against Fuki. Totally, I don't know. Probably just one-shot it and it's like done. What about the Dark Monkey? We don't talk about the Dark Monkey. It's terrible. But 44 pick rate. That's very high. Bet against. Bet against Deacon. Wait, what was Nyx? Nyx was 75. I feel like Molong is very strong, very often first picked and that kind of stuff. Would I say Molong 90 though? Because Molong has that much, it's pretty much one of the highest pick rate units out there. But the win rate is not that high. Because it is number 6. No, it's, no. It's definitely 85. Molong is good, definitely not a 90. Unlucky Dark Monkey user. Yes, I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. Red Panda, no one uses. Feng Yang Panda. Feng Yang, 46. Probably good against Ragdoll. Oh, I kind of expected good against Leo. 4% pick rate. It does have a decent amount of pick rate. It has some potential here and there to solo a team, potentially, maybe, but 65 for Feng Yang. Can I ask something about Dark Monkey and Laura? Yes, you can. And then we have the Tianlang. which is an insanely OP unit. Look at that win rate. This is by far the best 5th pick you can have in the game. 100% no doubt. If you flash this thing on the 5th pick, yo man, it's a must. Look at that ban rate, man. That ban rate is crazy. It's pretty much banned all the time. What is it bad against? Okay, it's bad against AoE CC. That's the only thing that really counters it. But man, the thing is, if you draft this thing into a Diana and he doesn't ban it, every time you slap something else, your TLN gets a turn. How is that even fair? That thing is broken, man. That thing is, you can draft it into everything, but the draft you can bring it into, it annihilates that draft. And therefore, TLN goes next to Wusa. TLN is better than Ragdoll and Monkey, because Ragdoll and Monkey actually have a good chance of getting fucked in the draft. The moment you draft in the TLN, you can't spam TLN, but the moment you draft in the TLN and it fits the draft, you are very likely to win that draft. If the TLN actually makes it through. I think the win rate where TLN is not banned is probably 60 plus. Because I feel like the win rate what you see here, that would be actually nice. That's if this you could see the win rate with and without being banned. That would be nice. But I think for TLN is probably one of the highest where he's not banned. So I would say TLN straight up there, one of the highest units. Where's my Leona? Wait, I didn't get one more row. We'll get to Leona. Wait, we also have the Miyang. Miyang. Too low, no one cares. Amelia. 1%. No one cares. No one cares. No one. You got better options. Show demons. Demons are down there. We're not there yet. No one cares about that pony then if it's that low. Helena probably also. I've seen it being used a little bit more. 2%, 5% pick rate. I can dig that. That's actually fair. Just a very hard counter into Leo teams, hard counter into Ver teams. Don't really get that much, but hard counter into Leo kind of teams. Diana actually bad against the whole water shebang. Amelia's not bad against Monkey. I bet you that most of the time Amelia doesn't really get a turn. And there's better options. Wusa's better, Lulu's better, Riley's probably better. So Amelia kind of got drafted out of meta because of that. So I feel like this unit is actually pretty solid for being a good Leo counter. So 75. I feel like more people should give Helena credits. It's not just a spam unit if it actually wins or if it actually cycles. It's just very strong in general against Leo drafts. But it's definitely one of those 5th picks. Nothing more than that. Sub Daniel Karaoke, doing good, man, doing good. Working on the next tier lists. Now we have the following unit, which is Diana. 51 win rate somewhere, 50.44, almost 50 in the pick rate. Damn, son. Wait, monkey. So if the Dark Monkey third skill compared to other monsters are 75, 100%. Yeah, I don't follow it. How can you compare Dark Monkey and Laura? They're completely different units. One AoE strips, the other one doesn't. But it's just they're both inconsistent and therefore they shit. Diana. How'd you rune Achroma? I rune Achroma on the best bruiser set you ever find. And Achroma is just really shining with a Nana and a Wusa and that kind of stuff. And I would rune her probably attack, crit damage, HP, or attack, crit damage, attack with high HP substats on via Revenge, or maybe not even Revenge, just very high stats. The highest stats you can find. Having 100 crit rate, having some accuracy. I feel like Achroma as a last pick is very strong, very strong. Diana. Okay. Good against. Wait, how is Diana good against Coco? Okay. Totally. I don't know. Bad against Tian Lang. That does make sense. That does make sense. But against Nana also makes sense. Who the fuck picks Coco to begin with? Ah, fair, fair, fair. But yeah, Diana's just a very solid, often drafted, too often drafted unit right now. And I feel like Diana's 90 in current meta. Definitely 90. Because you can literally early draft Diana. Normally Diana was hard counted by an Antares, but then you just go Diana plus Wusai, and the Antares is like, eh. What's, in your opinion, best monster for RTA right now? Well, we got 2 up there. And no one spoils it if we know that everyone's gonna put Nana up here. So those are probably the best units up there. And we still have Karnal to be placed, which is also somewhere on the top. So rising to the top. But oh man, I've already been making a video for an hour and 40. Okay, I gotta hurry up, man. This is taking so long. Well, I did a lot of units already, but been talking too much on side-tracking kind of questions. So Diana, 90. The pony thingy, whatever, whatnot. How do you write? This? Yes, 52 win rate on a 2% pick rate. Okay, that's actually higher than I thought. Is it because of the glancing effect on the 3rd skill? Yeah, that's okay. I guess it kind of works for AoE strippers or AoE CC units to not land their shit. And that actually makes this pony pretty legit. Okay, fair. It has a high win rate. It definitely does have a high win rate. So I guess I give it credits for that. And because of that high win rate, it's not picked as much. And because of not being picked as much, I would say here, 75 for the light pony. But that win rate is solid. 2.2 pick rate is not that high though, so I'm not sure if it's just some very good people using it. And you still have the hard counter of course Bolvric and Gianna, but I think as a last pick, 75, pretty solid, pretty solid. Maybe 1 up. For now there. It's just 15%, it's not that much. So then we have Alexandra. I feel like Alexandra's still underrated. Alexandra has a crazy win rate. That's not underrated. But Alexandra's one of those units. It's super easy to rune. It's just pure crit damage. You're done. Just crit damage. You can give it a lot of HP. You can even give Alexandra triple HP and just fix the crit damage from artifacts. I would probably do that. And then actually play Alexandra mainly for the shield rather than everything. So I think Alexandra's pretty strong actually. I would give Alexandra an 80. The next units. Okay, we have Triana, Celia, and Vivachel. Are they actually still being used? Triana, 3%. I have to put it in, it's 3%. Triana, you have a lot of better options, but it's not necessarily a bad unit. Triana, simple 7. But there's probably better options. It's probably a good unit against Molong kind of stuff. But probably most people put additional damage on wind on their Molong, so then you still kind of die and stuff like that. So that's that. We have Celia. Celia. Okay. Let's not look at that one. Vivachel. 50% win rate, 1.1% pick rates. It's a 1% up. So I feel like for 1% uppers we can pick it. But I feel like it's one of those niche units. Can maybe sometimes work, but it's not that crazy. Would you run Alexander or Fire or Despair? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. Depends on kind of what runes you have left over that makes sense. I think that's the best factor to determine it. Because if you have a very good Despair set left over on high HP, I would take that one. If you have a very good Vio set left over on that, I would take that one. If you have equal, I would probably go for Vio, I guess. Or would I? Yeah, I guess so. Cycling in, because Vio is more based on the shield, whereas Despair is more based on the humanist too, I guess. And then we have... Tablo. 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 Pretty unique unit. Kind of gives away your whole draft if you draft it early. Somehow, some people don't know how to draft into it. It's pretty good with Wusa though. This is pretty much these units, at least well this and this is pretty much just a Babo, I guess. But Tablo is still pretty solid, but it's hard countered by these two and this one and that one. So, but Tablo is solid. Tablo is solid. But I would say Tablo is probably 80. Because Tablo is that unique that it's like an inverse speed buffer on speed lead. And also has AoE stun. Which is pretty rare. That's... I would say Tablo is a way better version of a Wedjet. Wait, where did I put Wedjet? Oh, here I put Wedjet. Yeah, Tablo is pretty nasty, especially with Jamire. But the thing is, if someone drafts Tablo and Jamire is like, ooh, what's coming next? You kind of already know what's happening. But still, Tablo, pretty solid. 80 for Tablo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The main thing why I don't put it higher is because the draft is pretty predictable. Especially tournament plays, it doesn't work. Then we go into Paladins. Josephine. I think Josephine win rate is probably 40 low. 45. Pretty low. Yeah, it's just highly rucked by Nanas, Lulu's, Diana's, good against few fire units, and Terrace, I guess. Good against this thing. Kind of surprised about that, but I guess because it mostly stuns, and therefore it's good against a Phalantis, I guess. But the win rate is the 45, pick rate 3. I would say I'm not a big Josephine fan. 65 tops, maybe 70, but I would say 65. She just doesn't bring too much. 9 out of 10 she still gets countered by hearts, you see. These other units are all not used. Maybe Jean is used. Jean, no, too little pick rate, 0.26. Leona though, is pick rate is pretty high. 2% pick rate, a little bit below 50 win rate. It is hard countered to by, or no, it's hard counters. I'm surprised about Molong though. Shizuka, I guess we get to Shizuka later. Haven't seen her yet on the list. Maybe I missed her. I don't know. Oh, we get to newer units, so she's probably more at the bottom. But yeah, Leona, 50 win rate. I think it's one of those very strong last picks, but some people expect her to solo teams in too many situations, and therefore she's lower on the win rate. But I would say a Leona last pick is probably an 80 as well. It's just a very, very strong last pick. That's often a must ban. Where did you put Molly? 85 for Molly. So Leona, 80. Next unit on the list is Hernie. Hernie is actually a kind of counter to Nana. And it's a decent counter into Juno. If someone just goes Juno, Ragdoll, Nana, the Artemil, those kind of drafts, Hernie is actually pretty good. The main issue with Hernie is that her S3 has 3 resistance checks. If Hernie becomes that she doesn't have a resistance check on the S3, I think Hernie would be very legit. But the issue is, if you glance, this shit doesn't land. You have 3 resistance check, 1 for the pushback, 1 for the armor break, and 1 for the Oblivion state. Yeah, that's just too much. I think even if the Oblivion was just 100% already, and the rest was a check, then I feel like Hernie would be a lot better. But she... Also, her win rate is a lot lower because she's trying to hard counter the strongest unit on the field right now. So, for that reason, I do give her some credits that she kind of gets away with that. But she's not doing it that well. It's very specific. So, 75 for Hernie. Because I feel like she has potential. I think some people only overdraft her by trying to make her counter shit when she doesn't. Then we have the Druids. No, wait. Are we gonna put in Valeria? No, I don't think Valeria's used. How do you write it? No, it's 2.5. I don't know. Man, the unit is not even used. I don't give a shit. Okay, next one. Abelio. Abelio is actually pretty solid. Valeria. Oh, it's double L. I just want to check if she actually is. No, not used. Okay, Abelio is actually pretty legit into some of the CC stuff. And bet against, yeah. If Abelio becomes the only CC unit on the field, I feel like Abelio is strong. If that's not the case, then Abelio is not that great. So good final pick here and there. Don't spam it, don't overrune it. It's nothing too crazy, but a good final pick makes you win that 1 or 2 matches where you can actually draft it. So 74 Abelio. Then we have a Balanus. The unit I used to wipe Shen off the field. Actually very low pick rate, very low win rate, but it's one of those units that if the enemy drafts really dumb, this unit can shine. But if that's not the case, then this unit is pretty bad. Tesarion? Wait, I should have put Tesarion in there. Wait, I'm gonna put Tesarion after the Druids. So I keep it per family. But this unit, I did use in SWC. You don't see it that often. I think it's one of those typical cleave units, could be anything, and it just works out if the enemy drafts really potato. But besides that, this unit is not much better than a 65. For Balanus, then we have the Tyrannies. Tyrannies is barely used anymore. People would rather, yeah, no, people don't use this shit. People don't use this shit. And if you do, an Eladriel would be better, I don't know, so many things would be better. Valantis. What's the win rate on Valantis? 50.84. That's very low. I'm not joking. That's actually very, very low. I did not expect that. It's bad against Ragdoll, LDs, Riley. Okay, that makes sense, I guess, because the stun rate / provoke rate of this thing is not that high. I would say Valantis would be better, but I think Valantis is also very difficult to rune because you kind of want Valantis on Despair, but you also kind of want Valantis to be faster than all of your units, but you also want a lot of other units on Despair, so Valantis is very difficult to rune, I would say. But I feel like a good Valantis is at least 85. I'm not sure if I would say 90, because it's kind of hard countered by a Chiwu, hard countered by Heigang, hard countered by I don't know how many other shit. Yeah, Juno hard counters it, Riley apparently hard counters it. Josephine, I'm not too sure about. The win rate doesn't make me feel like it's worse. Would I say 90? No, I feel like Valantis is worse than the units on 90 actually. Also because it's that difficult to rune. And because it's that difficult to rune, it will probably slow down your whole team. Because if you gotta pair everything after the Despair unit, that's... How much are you on the base? 99? That's not easy. That's not easy. Like, for example, Heigang, if you gotta pair everything after Heigang, you are already up by 3 speed, because Heigang is 3 speed faster than Valantis, so... That's a difficult one. So, and then we have Patar. Patar, like this. Patar is 50 win rate, 2% pick rate. Not used that often, very bad into the pushback, not necessarily pushback, but cool time up units. I would say Patar is 75. Decent counter, but I don't really feel the use of it too much. Okay, then someone was asking for Tesarion. I missed that unit, so going to Ifrit's Tesarion. 45 win rate, which is terribly low, and it's probably trying to counter shit it doesn't really counter. I have seen some Tesarions on Triple Revenge, countering Nana teams where Nana team doesn't have immunity and cleansing. And with that, I would say it's decent. But Tesarion is just, his win rate is that low because he's trying to counter shit that he mostly doesn't counter. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad unit. It can fit the draft pretty well here and there, but it's just, it doesn't do too much. But I think the Triple Revenge Tesarion actually is pretty pretty decent. Tesarion needs a 3-turn Oblivion. No, Tesarion needs to land Oblivion on every turn he does. No matter resistance check or anything. Just always land Oblivion. If you hit it, it's Oblivion. If you have that, 2-turn Oblivion is fine. Because the unit is not as strong by itself. Yeah, Nefty's passive, but only for Oblivion, nothing else. Not that your armor break always lands or that the dot always lands, just the Oblivion always lands. Okay, next unit is, wait, before next unit, I'm going to take some extra water, and because this tier list is actually a lot longer than I thought. Holy shit, there's so many good units this season. And I still have to do, what, 4 rows of units, what, 10 rows of units. So I'm gonna go for a quick toilet break, and then continue on. Wanna stop timer? No, go on with the timer, because I have the timer of the video itself. Thank you for adding all the timestamps, I appreciate that. Yeah, you don't want to do the maths. I don't know. It's you don't want to do you don't want to add the math on like plus a few seconds for everything. So okay, next unit continuing. We are at the Lightning Emperors. No, like best thing is just keep the timer rolling. Easiest way to go. Bolfric is actually a unit that has been coming back to meta. Mainly because of Wusa and because of Riley. Because of Riley gives that many immunity or that many buffs every turn. That makes Bolfric pretty good. It's still pretty bad against Nana and that kind of stuff, but it has a decent place against the Riley. And against Wusa, not as much, but I feel like Bolfric is kind of getting back into meta. But I think people are also trying it a little bit too much, where his win rate drops. So he has like a 47 on nearly 4% pick rate. But yeah, I guess I guess that's 75 for Bolfric is fine. Because his win rate is still not that high. Often Bolfric is he's probably bad against Vert, right? Yeah. That's what I used to main Bolfric back in, I don't know, season 5, 6. And the main issue was Vert. Vert just lapping so many turns that Bolfric just didn't get a turn. Yeah, there's actually a lot of you. I can check where people start watching the thing, and they really do like the timestamps where they can actually check, like, okay, they just check 1 or 2 units of their. They always care about the most important units of the current meta or the tier list, but they also care about just their own team. So they just go selectively. Okay, this family I have a few units. This family I have a few units. So there's actually a lot of people checking like specific things. When is it a high pick rate? 10% plus, I would say, is pretty high. Bolfric is 4. So, yeah, that was Bolvric. I placed it. Yes, 75. Yes, sir. Then we have the next one, Odin. I don't think Odin is used much. Or is it though? Odin 044. Yeah, not recommended to use. Gelnir not. The other one, Hertite, maybe around 1. But I think not. 033 also terrible. Too much setup. Doesn't work. Then we have the snipers. I do want to put in Carbine. Carbine is actually terribly low win rate. Okay, that's a lot worse than I expected. Pick rate is also pretty low. Yeah, you know, back in the Moor meta, it was pretty decent. But I've actually started losing with Carbine 1v1 against Moor because people have too good additional damage artifacts. And because of that, Carbine is not doing as well. You want to ruin it on Vampire Will or Vampire Revenge with as much damage as possible, but enough HP that you still survive, kind of stuff. I do kind of want to put it in, but it's kind of also biased because I just use it. But I would say 65 tops. It is one of the few units, if you're fighting a full water team, this is probably your best unit to kill a full water team 1v4. Even better than a Feng Yang or anything. But that's only when there's full water teams, and there's not too many full water teams out there. And you need 100 crit rate, of course. And preferably you do enough damage that you can one-shot stuff, which is not that easy with just an attack buff. Then we go on to the next units, Bella. Bella is pretty much used just by Obabo, I guess. Win rate is close to 50, 0.42 pick rate. I feel like she's pretty good, but you need good artifacts on it, and that makes her good. But if you don't have that, 75, it's a niche unit, but you have to have your whole unit built on it. Is speed important on Carbine? No, not at all. Speed is very optional. But yeah, Bella, I would say 75. If you have a very good team built around her, she can work on higher, but probably if I would get her, I wouldn't do that. It just fits for Obabo because his whole playstyle, his whole draft is based on it. Otherwise, I'm not that great. Lucia is one of those units you don't see anymore at all. No, you don't see this anymore at all. Not at all. Rook, you don't see demons. And the demon I'm looking at is a Mephisto. What's the win rate on Mephisto? Mephisto is a 48.61 win rate. It doesn't even show up good against Nana. It is pretty much the best thing on Nana. One of the best counters. But the win rate is pretty low because he is trying to counter the strongest unit on the field right now. Also has a pretty high ban rate, which does up his value by quite some. Does make the draft also more difficult. Yeah, this is going to be in the video. But because of that, I would say Mephisto. I feel like Mephisto has a pretty high value of how good he is. But the issue is he's often drafted into a very difficult scenario and that drops his win rate. Magnum, not worthy of tier list? No, I don't think so. Wait, let me check. Magnum. 0.15 and then the win rate is high, but it's 0.15 pick rate. No one uses it, and the few people that use it just got a random win with it. It's too low of a pick rate. How do you ruin Mephisto? I personally like a tanky Mephisto on either Vamp or Vio. Most of the time, what I've seen people do good with is a tanky one. So it's pretty much on the field just for the passive. And I've seen Mephistos on Swift to actually boost the whole team, which was actually a pretty decent idea. It didn't work when I played against it. For him though, I won. But it was a decent idea that I was like, oh, wait. Not bad. Kind of works. And we have Lucifer. Lucifer is not for RTA. Probably very low pick rate. Yeah, that's barely anything. But Beelzebub. Wait. Well, this. Yeah, double E. Okay. 51 win rate on a 2.4 pick rate. Probably good with Nana. Not even that high good with Nana, but actually very good with Wusa as well. I feel like this is a unit that everyone that doesn't have it says is like the most crazy OP thing ever. And everyone that has it is like, it's good, but it's not always that crazy. But I would say Beelzebub is 85 or 90. Huh, I don't know. Huh. It's niche though. I think it's strong, but it's more niche than insanely OP. And therefore I would rather give it an 85 than give Beelzebub a 90. Because you can't draft it into that many things. It's often very, very difficult to draft it in, and then a good last pick, then it makes it strong. Nana Beelzebub apparently isn't as OP as we thought it would be. But it is strong, but not like insanely like, ooh, the next best crazy thing ever. So I think 85 is fine. Putting him on 80 would be too low, because he's still 51 win rate, which is pretty high. Yeah, the pick rate is kind of low, but the win rate is pretty high. Ban rate is also pretty high. I think it's also one of those units in the draft he becomes pretty strong. I tried running Nigong and Beelzebub. Did that work? Sounds strong, actually. Okay, so we're done with the demons. We go into Vigor, which is not used anymore. Vigor 2A. No, it's not used. Eshir, however, is used. Not to the greatest success. Ban rate is pretty high. Pick rate is 3%. It's still a decent amount of pick rate. It can potentially be decent, but it has its niche things here and there. I would say 70. It can be important in the draft that you can, okay, you go fast, I pick Eshir, it's a must ban. And for that reason, Nigong S2 into Beelzebub S2 sounds potentially one shot. Yeah, that's pretty solid. The only thing is the moment you shoot your S2 with the Beelzebub, people start killing it because it already lost its like pressure potential. And that's the issue with Beelzebub. The moment you use your S2, you lose all pressure potential. So actually your S1 is more important to do a lot of damage than your S2. Okay, that was Eshir. After Eshir we have Miho. Yeah, I do like Beelzebub on Vio for sure. Miho is also something you don't see anymore. It also doesn't really fit the meta anymore. And yeah, that's the funny thing. People were like, Mio is so OP. Mio never got nerfed, and it kind of got very hard nerfed. Well, technically, the crit fix nerfed Mio a lot, but okay. Barbara, Beast Riders. Barbara, 4% pick rate, 48 win rate. I do like myself Barbara more on Vio as a bruiser damage dealer than on Swift. Swift, it can work here and there, but not crazy. But I feel like a good bruiser Barbara can actually kill off the Junos, the Verts, those kind of things pretty decently. But it's not the best unit out there. I would say 75 tops. I actually had a very good one runed for quite a while. Didn't use it as much. It could work here and there, but it's just one of those units that's difficult to make work. Same for Marcia. Is Marcia? No R. Okay, Marcia. Lower pick rates, similar win rates, similar thing that I would say for her. Only thing that makes Marcia better is it shines very well with Ragdoll. The Beast Riders are technically good with Nana, but that has not been shown that much of a success actually, because I think if you check good with, oh, it's actually, yeah, Nana is the best. But what's good with Marcia as well is that Hey Gang also boosts Nana double. So if you're saying, let's say, Hey Gang plus Marcia against a Juno, every time Juno cleanses a stupid debuff, your Marcia gets a stack and a double speed boost. That boost. So that's pretty. Marcia has its potential, but it's one of those units that's often difficult to draft into for fitting into the team. Mia also got nerfed by Onimushas. Very true, very true. And the additional damage. True, true. Okay, so other Beast Riders. Savannah. The best of the normal family, I would say. 51.8 win rates. Very high pick rate, 14.7. That's actually pretty solid. I'm always kind of surprised how good the win rate of Savannah is. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong. I do have a pretty good one runes, but I'm not sure. And always she has a pretty high win rate. For me, I often feel like she's not as crazy good. I would say 85. But because of that win rate and the pick rate, I would maybe say 90. What would you guys say? Also, the things that counters, like these units countering, that doesn't make any sense. 11%, yeah, that's just the lead rate if people don't have any lead. It does happen that people selected them. 85, yeah, I feel like 85 is... Where you put Pisama, I put Pisama, I think 80, yes. Yeah, I feel like Savannah 85 is fine. I would draft these two units more often than I would draft this for sure. So, yep. I agree with myself. Yeah, I've been doing this for too long. 2 hours and 10 minutes already on the stream. Oh no, wait, 2 hours and 10 minutes for the record. Oof, man, this tier list is too freaking long. Okay, we have Narsha. Narsha, 52.83 win rate. I have been talking about Narsha a lot with Philippity. And Philippity actually said Narsha's kind of like a, what's it called? Daphnis. That if your Daphnis doesn't land the strip armor break, which your Nana or Narsha can also do, then you have a lot of issues of actually making her that useful. But I would still say like, yo, she's very strong, insanely strong. But he has like, yeah, that's kind of an issue. But it's still, for me, one of the strongest units out there. It's just, man, that it even kills mollies. I don't know, man. Against Nana, it's pretty difficult, but I think it's also pretty much one of the best friends with Nana. So if you have Nana Narsha, that's pain. That's pain. But you're often fighting a bruiser fight, which could be kind of tricky for Narsha. But I feel like this unit is a very, very strong. So I would say Narsha is at the 92.5. Or I would say, no, the pick rate is a lot less. So she's worse than Gian. I would say 90. And I think she fits in with this. I do feel like Han is worse than Narsha, though. What's the pick rate of Han? Yeah, win rate is a lot less, I'd say. But Narsha is also one of those units. You need good win rate to make it work. But Narsha is not as good as Gianna, that's for sure. Narsha is worse than Gianna. But I would say she's kind of better than most things up here. Do I want to put another in-betweener? What do you guys say? 90? Yeah, I feel like 90 is kind of fair. The pick rate is kind of low. I'm not sure if I would -1 Han. Han is strong, but it's more difficult to draft in Han. I'm gonna leave it as is on the 90. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as is on the 90. Okay, then we go into this unit not used, these units not used. Hey gang. Hey gang actually has kind of a low win rate, which is somewhat interesting. It's pretty bad against, well, these kind of units. If you hide LDs, probably Nana, that kind of jazz. Pick rate of Heigang is pretty high, ban rate is pretty high, so Heigang still is a very strong unit, even though his picks are not that high. Or his win rate is not that high. But I would say 85. In previous metas, I would actually put Heigang higher. But I noticed that often you can kind of ignore the Heigang, just draft around it, and it's kind of fine. So Heigang is not as oppressive as I thought it would be. And also, if you just have a Chiwu or a Wunsa, you still outspeed that thing. Where that Tiana still outspeeds the Heigang. So there are a whole bunch of counters to the Heigang. Or you just hella ban that thing. So therefore the win rate, I cannot put something on 90 with below 50 win rate. That's a no bueno, I guess. Next unit, which is Jogun. Jogun actually started shining again a little bit because of the counter towards the Nana, which is not bad at all. Jogun is a hard counter to Jaeger because it's one of the few units that can actually counter Jaeger. I feel like Jogun is actually not bad. If Big V had a little bit more luck, then Big V would have 100% won against Pinkroyd. Because if the scrolls landed and that kind of stuff, then Pinkroyd would have lost against Big V. Mainly because of the Jogun. But I would say Jogun 80 because of the scroll being a resistance check, and it's just kind of shit, right? But Jogun 80? Wait, is that maybe too high? Or 75. No, I actually feel like if people put proper runes to their Joguns again, Jogun is actually pretty strong. Jogun is actually pretty strong. Yeah, I feel like Jogun 80. Then we have CP. One of the units, a lot of people say is one of the strongest unit out there. Win rate is actually kind of lowering. It's actually kind of lowering. But no, wait, it's actually kind of climbing. It used to be 48. Currently it's closer to 50 again. Play rate is 52. I think this is the highest pick rate unit out there then. Let me check. No, Karnal's still higher. But they're relatively close. But this is 52 pick rate is very high. And I would have to put it straight up here. No, I have to put it one up. I have to put it one up because it's just the pick rate is too high with still a decent win rate. It's just too high to put it lower. Even though you do have the issues that Changpong is not really the best stripper out there. Because he can, well, he can just get chucked by a lot of things. Would I put Heigang 1 lower though? Looking at Karnal win rate wise, this, yeah. I feel like the win rate is a little bit too low to put him there actually in the spot. I think I'm going to put another in-betweener. This tier list is difficult, man. I'm going to put a lot of in-betweener. Because I feel like 2 units don't belong there. And when I got 2 units that don't belong, I feel like I can put an in-betweener. And that's the reason why I make these numbers, so I can actually easily can put different units in between. Because I feel Narsha being better than the whole list here, and I feel CP being better than the whole list. Or being worse than Gianna. I cannot sell Gianna and Changpong on the same tier. That's impossible. But Changpong is definitely better than these two. The thing is, if Changpong you should not use as main stripper. That's the main issue people go wrong with. The people where people go Changpong as main stripper, it's just no. It's a secondary stripper. And if it Vio turns on the first match, he just annihilates the whole match right away. Yeah. So. Question is, do I want to one-up a Chroma or Nephthys? Personally, I feel like a Chroma is that strong that I could one-up a Chroma. But the Chroma doesn't have that much of a pick rate, so I can't really sell it. Nephthys has a 50-50 win rate, so I feel like Nephthys is kind of overdrafted and not as good anymore as it used to be. The speed lead is good, but I feel like, because if you have a 50-50 win rate on a 10% pick rate, I don't know. Ban rate, let's check the Nephthys. The Chroma ban rate is 20. Nephthys ban rate is 27. I wouldn't want up Nephthys. No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine as is. Let's go for fine as is. Then we have these two are not used. These are all not used. Nice, we're actually making progress. More. Okay, what are you? I think it's just selected as more on this website. Does Nana need skill ups? If you actually want to land armor breaks, yes, Nana needs skill ups. More is a 49 win rate, pick rate, 25 ban rate, pretty high. Pretty good against cleave-ish kind of units, pretty bad against ragdoll-ish units. Does make sense, does make sense. I feel more is still pretty strong. I feel like more is still on 85. And the reason for that is that if you have very good runes on the more just does a lot of damage. And it doesn't even matter if it's Swift or Despair. If it just does a lot of damage, I feel like more is still a very, very strong unit. Like, if you check the more from Diligent, or the more from Tars, or the more from Big V, those just wreck teams, man. Those legit just wreck teams. They just take, like, easily, like, 30% damage AoE for just an S2 that also strips and pushes back and pushes you up. So I feel like more, it does need the shining of very good rune quality, but it is up there to be very, very good. Okay, then we have the, what's it called, Douglas? Douglas win rate is 48, which is actually higher than expected. Good against Vert, Charlotte, Okeanos, CP. Does make a lot of sense. This thing, however, is probably going to stun your ass because that's what she does. And then you still lose. But Douglas is actually a pretty good unit. Does pretty well in what he should do. But he is not often picked that much. And I feel like Douglas is a fair 80 or 75. No, I would say 75. Would I though? Would I though? Yeah, I feel like he's... Wait, what was his win rate? 48, yeah. 48, pick rate not that high. Doesn't even always counter what he should counter. 48 is fine, 48 is fine. Also needs pretty good runes to actually shine to always counter and that kind of jazz. Ken, unit you don't see that often, but... Okay, wait, what's the... Fuck, what was the name? How the fuck did you write that other thing that's Ken? Well, probably no one uses Ken. Shadowclaw. That thing. And then we can go to this. Okay, too little pick rate, I don't care. Then we have the Bisons. The one and only Karnal. Well, I gotta put in Karnal. I gotta put in Karnal. Karnal. Can't go for the Bison. Bison skin is ugly compared to Karnal. Karnal, 56.67 pick rate with a 51.43 pick rate. Holy shit, that's fucking high. That's something. Hard counted by LDs and Busanana. Okay. Okay. Karnal, you go all the way up. And I would say Karnal is... It is definitely better than CP. Is it on this level though? I would feel it's on Gianna level. Because the main reason that Karnal dropped down, because I think I had Karnal 95 before, but the only reason Karnal dropped down is because Wusa and Nana. And they very hard stomped Mr. Karnal. But Karnal still very strong, most picked units, yeah. And they also slightly nerfed this thing. Then the next ones... How much is Cigar actually? Probably not used. Not used, okay. Then we have all of those, not used, not used, not used, and then we end up with a Lulu. Lulu win rate actually got some hits. 50. Still solid. Hard counter to segment, bunch of those. Pretty bad into being one shot. How about Douglas? I already put Douglas. I put Douglas at 75, didn't I? Yeah, Douglas 75. Dark Striker, no one uses that. Lulu 50 point something. I still feel like Lulu is pretty much one of the better cleansers out there. But is Lulu 80 good or is Lulu 85 good? I would say Lulu is 85 good. I would still say Lulu is pretty good. It's very easy to rune. 80? Is Lulu as good as a as an NFL? Because actually pick rate is pretty high, win rate is still above. For that reason I like Lulu for decent. Everyone says 80? I don't know. 19 pick rate is fair. That's a decent amount. Maybe drop NFL 1. No, I feel like NFL, well, they're kind of similar, but different. NFL does other stuff, so you can't really compare 1 to 1. That's true, that's true. That is true. Yeah, they do very different stuff. They both have a cleanse, but the whole rest of the kit is very different. So yeah, okay, let's go for that. Let's go for that. Shushu, is that even used? Shushu and friends. Too little pick rate in my opinion. Then all of these others are not used. Shizuka is pretty low win rate if I'm not mistaken. Shizuka 44. Yeah, what a joke. Why Jogun at 80? Yeah, I might -1. Do I want to -1 Jogun? I feel like Jogun is pretty good against Nana and that kind of stuff. Yeah, because of the what's it called? Because of the resistance check on the scroll. I don't know. I feel like people are just not drafting Jogun anymore, but Jogun is still very strong. I like Jogun at 80. No, I like Jogun at 80 because I feel like everyone just removed the runes from Jogun the moment he was nerfed, but he actually was not that big nerfed. He was actually nerfed because he was very strong. So I feel like I think he's still pretty strong. The only issue he has is the resistance checks. Who did I say next? Well, Shizuka is not really used. All of those are very shit. And then we get in... Wait, why is Kaki missing? Why does this thing not have Kaki? Well, not that Kaki is used as much. Kaki is a fair amount that should be picked in. Why? Okay, the first unit we miss, Kaki. Okay, let's check out the others. Suiki. Yeah, that win rate. That win rate. Yeah, no, he's pretty terrible. I don't like this unit. It's one of those water units that's just like, let's just try like 65 for 65 for this. And Kiki. Kinky, 50 win rate. Kinky is still hard counter, last pick unit, can be viable. 50-50 win rate, 7% pick rate. I would say Kinky on a last pick is still very solid and can be deadly. But it's nowhere as strong as it used to be. Maybe even 75. No, he gets the 1-up from an Artemil though. Even though a lot of people compare them, but you can't really compare them because one is good against AoE units, and the other one is good against single target critters, so I think that's fine. Onimusha actually took a lot of hits, man. Dark Onimusha took a lot of hits in his win rate. Okay, win rate actually climbed a bit back up. But yeah. So let's go for the Onimusha. I would still say he needs a very specific team right now to actually counterplay, but I would say 85. I would say 85. Cleaves are just, yeah, the cleave is very strong. But the thing is, he's actually, if you say good with, it's just, well, he's actually good with Jogun, but he's good with Neftis, he's good with Nana, that kind of stuff, if you remove that. Okay. Wusa, I can see him work with a Wusa. Yeah, maybe Wusa makes him get some potential again, actually. Because Wusa doesn't cleanse him if he gets stunned, but still gives immunity shield. Yeah, I can see Wusa work. So I would say 85 on Miyuki. Only issue I have right now is I don't have a Kaki, and I kind of want to put Kaki in. I kind of want to put a Kaki in. Because Kaki, it's not the highest win rate, but it is still there. It is still there. This thing has the closest name to Kaki. I'm going to change it afterwards, but this is a Kaki. I would say Kaki is a 70 or 75. And nobody uses Kali as well. And I will remove it in the tier list that I actually publish on Reddit and stuff like that. I would say Kaki 70. Its win rate is not really that crazy or anything. It's also not really used that much anymore. There's also not too many... Also, your Kaki is just so hard counted by a Nana because Kaki just dies very easily. Wusa just one-shots it probably with S2. Fucking Wusa damage. Okay, and then we go on to the next, and we arrived at the one and only DOP unit, DOP of DOP, Nana. Almost 54 win rate on a nearly 50 pick rate. Bad against, what are you bad against? Oh, you're bad against LD units. Okay, and Hathor. What else? Gani Hathor. Oh, she's bad against Gani Hathor. Okay, so AoE CC is the only thing to get rid of this dumb thing off the field. Yeah, no one is surprised about this. No one is surprised about this, right? Like, I don't know, man. Tesarion has a 45 win rate. That's one of the reasons that Tesarion is pretty low in the stuff. It's a decent counter to Nana, but it's also kind of easily cleansable. Why Laura so high against Nana? It's probably just a few matches and then it's because of that. It's probably not that many matches and then just... That's the thing, it shows just the win rate, but not the matches. If it also showed like, okay, this is based on like 1% of the match and this is based on like 50% of the matches, then... Yeah, that's... Then that's that. Thoughts on Lucifer Cleaves? Not for RTA. So all of these others, Kiki is actually legit. Kiki, I wouldn't be surprised if Kiki, okay, pick rate is not that high, but the win rate, I would say, yo, this is nice. And I've seen some people with Kiki with very good runes. That thing hits hard, and that thing drains a lot of HP, and that thing has a lot of HP. It's very tanky. It's not super oppressive, it's not super strong. But I do like Kiki. Dark Onyuki is still pretty strong. Just Veromos, yeah. You can kind of counter it by Veromos. The thing is, there are some options that just hard counter it. Like if you can only draft Kiki in the 5th slot, kind of. Because otherwise people go Juno, people go Veromos, people go all kinds of like weird shit. So, therefore, she's only a last pick, kind of, to fit in the Kiki, which... makes her not that versatile, and therefore I would say 80. And then we are almost finished. I guess Miles and John are used, and then Riley. That's about it. I'm not sure how many people use Miles. Mediocre amount, but it's 1% up, so I kind of have to place. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm not a Miles fan. I feel like Miles is absolute shit. I still don't know really what he does, but I feel like, I don't know, man. Some people are like, yo, Miles is such a good thing, and then I see him hit, and he hits like a wet noodle. Like, ugh. Miles is funny. Yeah, it's just a content machine. I don't know, man. Would you guys say 75 for Miles? I don't give it. You just pew a Miles down with... I would use Miles against Wusa. The strip is inconsistent as well. So 70, yeah. I agree. John, however... I would say is a... Miles better than Shiho. Wait, did I put Miles better than Shiho? Yeah, I agree, man. I feel Miles is fucking shit. They're as shit. Man, you have so many water bruises here. Like, join the rest of the family. Join the rest of the family. Oh, water shit bruisers. Yo, Baba with the rate of 462 people. Hope you had a good stream, man. I'm going to finish this tier list and then I'm going to answer question about it because I pretty much just finished the tier list. I want to finish this video. This video is already freaking 2 hours 30 minutes, which is way too long. And we only have what? 2 more units. 2 more units. Okay, so we go for John. John is actually having a decent pick rate. John, I'm gonna place. It's kind of a Shiho kind of thing. That's it. Where's my water demon? Not on the list. No one uses it. And Riley. That's the last unit. Last unit I want to put in there. Riley is close to a 50 win rate. Stop killing my 10 in siege. Then don't hit me on defense. It's simple. And the pick rate is 13.16. Good against AoE kind of hitting units. Bad against LDs. Haha. Well, this kind of stuff. Bad against Bolfric is pretty bad against Bolfric, yeah. Isn't John a worse Sian? Technically, yes. But because of Nana, you cannot really draft Sian. Because Sian's just gonna give Nana a stack. And therefore, I would say, no, they're both a shit. They're both shit right now. Let's say it that way. Both 65. You can better draft something else than those bombers right now. Because bombs also miss. I don't know. Okay, so we have that. Then Riley is close to a 50 win rate. I feel like Riley is pretty strong. Is Riley stronger than Lulu, though? Lulu has a higher win rate and a higher pick rate. So I can't sell it that Riley is stronger than Lulu. They're different for doing similar thing. But they're different. At least Sian can be a force ban, John just dies. True, kind of. Kind of they're similar, kind of different. So I think I'm going to leave this tier list as is right now. Video is already 2 hours, 36 seconds. That's pretty crazy. And that is pretty crazy. So I just got a big ass host. I'm gonna answer all of the questions for the people that just joined in. The tier list is pretty lengthy. I didn't put anyone in the trash tier, so let's just remove these, and anyone that's let's do that. Okay, that's it for tier list right now. I'm gonna end the video, guys. Thanks for watching on the YouTube channel. Highly appreciate it. If you finish this whole thing, put it in the comments. Highly appreciate y'all. And yeah, I guess I got some explaining to do for most people that just joined in. Okay, let's end the records.